physical. It's time to talk some piss and more. We gonna talk about it all. DVD, CD, UHD, VHS, books, Blu-ray. Who knows, maybe you'll even see the laser disc today. Let's get physical. We wanna talk some physical media. Movies and TV, music and more. Come check out what we have in store. This is the media house stream. It's time for some physical media on FanZcene.
I know it was like really popular because it like won some Oscars and whatever, but
Jimmy does that.
It's got the Mighty Ducks guy. Got that guy.
No! Yes, but no! He's not the Mighty Ducks guy! It's Emilio Estevez! For the
You can never have enough physical media.
Well, thank you. But
From
Peg,
Sacramento, California, here's Greg.
but Peg, I don't have any money. Hey, you in the back, put your shirt on. Those are some really bad sitcom jokes.
Yeah.
But welcome, my fellow fellers, to the
But we love you.
Yeah. Oh, Dad, I smoked some of my first weed today.
I don't have my gasp up here. Hang on.
Yeah, you gotta get the gasp.
I hit the wrong button. Say it again.
But Dad, I smoked my first weed today.
All of it?
Holy, I did not exhale. What?
I'm just kidding.
Why the fuck do you guys start so early all the time now?
Welcome, runner.
The audience loves you. They're happy to see you.
I can't believe it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We thought we'd just go early and see what happens, and yeah.
I wish I could prep a little bit beforehand, but I guess we're just running it live right now. I guess
we do it on purpose just to mess with you guys, especially the other guy.
Yes.
Yeah. When is that guy gonna show up? That's what I'm curious about.
He's getting a fan.
Nice.
Man.
I'm really excited for that guy to show up. That'll be fun.
I think you're about the only one excited for that guy to show up.
I know.
But
one of the reasons why I'm excited is because I got a lot to say to that guy. Maybe.
Hey, we went almost 4 hours last week. I'm trying not to go 4 hours this week.
Well, sucks to be you then, right?
It's my show. I can end it. Boom. When it's time.
Yes,
But welcome, Runner. Welcome, Tom. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm going to say hi to the chat real quick, and then we'll get into some physical media news and see if the other guy actually shows up. So we have Brian Barth. Hail to you, Brian Barth. And what is up? Brian Barth. Oh, I said your name twice. The chat jumped on me. How long does it take for Vinegar Syndrome to ship? Well, it really depends on the order. If you're talking about because you ordered the Black Friday, the big sale they had this week, sometimes that takes a little longer than normal because there are a lot of orders that come in and they get to your order as they go. That's why they give you the number of the order that you are. So sometimes it can take a while. Sometimes it can be pretty quick. It just depends on when you got that order in there, especially for the pre-Black Friday sale that they have. But just so you know, hail to you, Dragonzilla. Glad to have you with us. What is up, Psycho Not Your Daddy? Hail to you. What's up, Cowabunga Dude? Glad to see you here. Good evening and live long and prosper, Tyrell72. Void King, welcome, Void King. Glad to have you with us. Did you hear that Chucky voice actor? What? That's not true, is it? Is that true?
No, it's not the voice actor. It was what's his face, the guy who was in the costume.
Oh, I was
Diddler
going to
dude.
say, yes,
The guy who got busted not that long.
yeah, yeah. He played Howard the Duck.
Ed Gale, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, I didn't hear nothing about Brad Dourif. What is up, Psycho Night Daddy? I think I said your name. Been a great week. Picked up some great laser disc. Oh, by the way, the wife is pregnant. Third. Well, congratulations to you on your third child. I'm happy for you, my friend. I hope it is here's to a wonderful birth and a happy, healthy child on the way for you. Congratulations. And what is up, Tim Hayes, member for 33 months. Hell to you, man. I appreciate you and all your support. Thanks so much, Tim Hayes. I'm glad to have you there. Let's see who else. We got Johnny 15. Anyone get Time Cop on 4K? Are there audio issues with it? Tom got it on 4K. I don't believe there was audio issues, was there, Tom? But the thing is, it's just the movie. It's literally just the movie. There's nothing on it, right, Tom?
There wasn't any sound issues as far as I could tell. Yeah, no, there was just absolutely no special features whatsoever.
Which is fine because I know some people don't like special features. We're the type of people
but they
like
charge way too much.
Yeah, they're charging like $35 for a movie. That's ridiculous. Which is funny because I just bought it. I bought a movie that it's new, but I was going to bring it on tonight, but I'm going to do a video about it. But it's a new movie. But I bought it. How do I say this? Because it's not been used, but I bought it secondhand, still wrapped and everything, but it still got the Best Buy sticker on it and the price how much it was, brand new. And it even comes with inside the free movie ticket to go see a movie. And I was going to open it up and watch it today, but I thought, no, I think I might do a video.
Spider-Man 2.
no, it wasn't Spider-Man 2. But I thought I might do a video on that just, to show how they used to do physical media releases back in the day, how like the movies.
They made enough off of those they could give you a free ass ticket.
Exactly, like how the theaters and physical media releases worked in tandem at the time, and like I just covered on here with the WB, we missed the day the DVD.
That's how I saw Nightmare on Elm Street for free. Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what's up, Nada? Says Greg, no, I'm not from Sacramento. That's just
No, I was just being funny.
How you like film live TV. So yeah. What is up, Vinobite? Glad to have you with us.
No, he's from Sandusky, Ohio. No,
Sandusky. And living in a van down by the river. What's up, Cortland Road? Glad to see you with us. Ace Hanlon, let's go, of course. Anthony Driven, what's up, man? Glad to see you in the chat. What is up, Rick Johnson? Glad to see you with the guys. Hey, hell, Tom, I didn't see you on Doomcock. You didn't see it, so I don't know about that. So. What's up, Howdy Dub Effect? Glad to see you with us as well too, and I think we're all caught up on the chat. So let's get into the evening of upcoming physical media releases because it looks like the other guy still hasn't showed up yet. Runner,
yeah.
I'm back. Sorry, what's up?
Yeah. Oh, you wouldn't even hear either. So
yeah.
I said I'd be right back in the private chat.
Yeah, I saw it, but I forgot to check see if you were back.
You don't read that.
Yeah.
Not for you anyway.
Yeah. But let's see what we got. What do we got for upcoming new releases?
Well, it looks like a bunch of the Arrow releases were kind of leaked early.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw that too, kind of.
But it looks like Poseidon was one of them.
The remake Poseidon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else was there?
The Texas Chainsaw
Massacre.
Which I don't hate that remake, honestly.
I can't find it here, but yeah, those were two of the probably bigger ones. Of course, we know Ninja Turtles is coming as an announcement. We also got a look at the Criterion 4K Wes Anderson box set, which looks interesting.
I was just going to mention that. I saw that today. I think it was announced.
Of course, I just bought a couple more of his Blu-rays not long ago, so I was like, God damn
it. I'm glad I didn't get any of his fucking Blu-rays.
Madagascar's coming to 4K, which I wonder if they're going to re-render that from a new sword or new master or what.
I don't even know.
Knight Rider the series is getting a 4K upgrade. I don't know the source yet. I've been trying to find that out, but it's getting some new special features, and it's a direct release from Universal, not Mill Creek this time, so who knows. Other Criterion titles were stuff I'd never even heard of before. The Burmese Harp, Fires on the Plain, Saving Face, Cairo Station, Shoeshine, and Compensation. All of Me is getting a Vestron release.
Nice.
Other than that, I think that was. Am I missing something?
No, I think that's all I saw. But I'm trying to see if if I can find this because Dragonzilla said the Andy Sedaris collection is coming to 4K from Synapse, which that would be, and it looks like it's Synapse retweeted it so from the Physical Media Forever guy. So it looks like that might be true. Interesting. I like the Andy Sedaris films. To be honest with you, I might get the chance to interview Arlene Sedaris, Andy Sedaris' wife, I guess. You can say widow because he's passed on. So I might get a chance to interview her here on the channel soon maybe I'll talk to her about this today, the 4K snaps. So be on the lookout for that. That'd be interesting.
Oh, here it is right here. Yeah. Well, according the Physical Media Forever guy posted it, but Synapse reposted it.
Yeah, they reposted it. So
there you go.
That'd be great. They needed it. And you know who put out the last Blu-rays and DVDs? Mill Creek. So it'd be nice for Synapse to get their hands on them.
There you
and
go.
hi, Heather Preston.
Looks like it's a huge a bunch of them there. So yeah, check out their X for details on that one. So look who's here.
It's so hot. I need a fan.
Yes, I have returned.
Yay!
It's so hot. I need a fan.
Hot, man. Seriously.
And that's the reaction he got.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look how excited everybody was for you to show up.
I know, right? I heard all the applauses. It's great. Thank you. Yes. Impressive.
Things just got real lively up in here.
Yeah. How's that fan?
What's up, Trevor Maurer? Yes, and Knight Rider is actually getting a Blu-ray set here in America now. So yeah, Turbine
4K. We already have the
4K. Sorry, yes, 4K. I'm sorry, 4K. Turbine did release a Blu-ray set of the Knight Rider. So Trevor's in Australia though, so that had to be a pretty hefty import for you from Turbine for Australia. But yes, there is a 4K of Knight Rider coming, which I ain't complaining. So. The Wes Anderson archive. I've never been a huge Wes Anderson fan, so it didn't really quite excite me.
I like some of his movies, so I don't know.
I did like. Was that Wes Anderson the one with Bill Murray, where he does the water, the Jacques Cousteau thing,
and Darjeeling
Life Aquatic.
Life Aquatic. Yeah, I like that one. That one.
I like that one too. That's a good one.
Meet the Tenenbaums or whatever. And
the Royal Tenenbaums?
The Royal Tenenbaums or whatever it's called, yeah.
That's another good one.
Rushmore. I mean, he's got a few that are pretty good. Some of his newer ones I haven't seen yet, so I don't know. It depends on how expensive it is.
I watched one of his newer ones. I thought it was okay. I don't know. I thought his older stuff was better.
He's in a world all of his own, man. He is an auteur director, so
that's kind of it. Yeah, and he has a fan base, which I respect.
Oh, he does. Yeah, I mean, if he's getting a big box set, I mean, if you don't have a fan base, you don't get a big box set if you don't have a fan base. So
no, for sure. But I know some people who are like crazy Wes Anderson fans.
Sitting here talking about Andy Sedaris films, and you talk about Wes Anderson. Two totally different directors, opposite end of the spectrums. It's crazy. Gene Hackman's. Oh yeah, I forgot Gene Hackman is in the Royal.
Yeah,
yeah. Like you said, I haven't watched. I mean, I've seen that, but I haven't I'm not a huge Wes Anderson fan, so I don't. I vaguely remember some of them. But I did like Life Aquatic. I thought that was a pretty good one.
I also liked Fantastic Mr. Fox. I loved that one.
Never seen it.
Really?
No.
Wow.
I just told you I'm not a huge fan.
No, I get that, but like, not even the hotel one.
No, Artemis.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh no, never seen it.
That's probably his last, like, of his recent stuff. That's probably his last, like, great one, I think.
Never seen it. Oh,
That's
all right.
a good one.
I mean, nothing huge in the way of releases. I mean, we did get a couple good ones there. The Sedaris, Wes Anderson, the Arrow movies. I think did you get Thief? Thief was coming from Arrow, I believe. I think that was one of the other ones that leaked.
That's
I know
for UK only, though.
For UK only. I know Arrow and those the companies like
Did
that.
we mention that last week? Because that was part of their trailer from the last time I saw it, where they had all the little was Cobra and some of the other.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
with the steel books, right?
Ninja Turtles is big news because I keep hearing different things. I hear it's just going to be the first one. I hear it's going to be the first two.
Yeah.
I hear it's going to be all three. I heard the first one's just going to be available in the US and 2 and 3 are going to be in the UK. So I don't know what the deal is. Hopefully we'll find out soon. All I know is I can't wait. So yeah.
Me too. I'm kind of excited. I love the Ninja Turtle movies, and we know Tom.
And hopefully Arrow gets a nice scan of it, and that Warner Brothers hasn't fucked with.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny.
I hope so too.
I do find this kind of funny though, because like I was just mentioning, we talked about it, how Warner Brothers says they miss the days of DVD. They're working without a safety net, and yet they're licensing all these movies out to Arrow. It seems like it's interesting. It's so funny that they cannot see they've done this to themselves, and there is a fix to it. It would take a while to fix, but
I'm sure boutique companies sell a hell of a lot more titles right now than a lot of the studios do.
yes, as far as I know, people can get all up in armor about the prices and stuff. I get it. I'm not gonna say anything, but boutique labels are keeping physical media alive at this point. So that's where we're at. But it is funny though, because like that movie I was just telling you that I'm going to do a video. The original brand new price release for that Blu-ray that I'm going to do a video on was $24.99 at Best Buy, and that was in 2008 for a brand new movie on Blu-ray. So some of the prices have gone up, but some of the prices haven't gone that much far. So it really depends on what you're buying and what they're selling, I guess you could say. But with that being said, who wants to go first tonight? Since we got the youngins here, and I know we started before you guys came in, so you guys didn't get to talk. So how many do you each have, and who wants to go first?
Real quick, I switched my mic again. Do I sound okay?
Sound better.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Thanks. Well, I could talk okay, but I couldn't hear you guys like at all. So now
You sound like you got your head stuck in a Pringles can.
Really? Again?
Yeah.
It only happened once.
It's not the worst
I got
thing
3
ever.
picks.
You're fine.
I got 3 picks though.
And he wasn't even a baby.
I remember him saying he's got 3 picks in
Yeah, he got 3. So how many you got, Renner?
I got 3 as well.
3. All right. So which one do you want to go first? Me and Tom's got a little more than that. So which one do you want to go first?
I don't know.
What do you say we do rock, paper, scissors?
Yes.
Rochambeau.
Okay. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Slow as hell, but we all tied anyway. So
fuck.
All right. So 1, 2, 3. All right.
You really are children.
1.
I think
you go first.
Yeah,
you win.
Well, I won actually. So I won. So I'll go first.
Fuck
Okay?
you, trumps all.
That's fine. That's fine.
What do you got for us? Some movie you saw on Netflix that you had to buy when you was brand new, right?
Yeah, such as 1917, bitch.
Oh my god, I can't believe
And it's
it.
4K at that.
It's 4K.
Uh-huh.
I have the steelbook for that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I have the
Finally
4K
watched the
steelbook.
sucker. I apparently had this for a while, and I was like, oh, in the mood for a kind of war-ish movie, sort of in that sort of time thing. So why not? So I checked it out. Really nice, especially. Of course, the editing with it is, pretty cool with it. It's all appearing to be one shot. Of course, there's lots of spots where you can tell where they were able to make a cut, but I think that you're gonna have just a huge
Yeah.
long take and it doesn't really work as well, then don't bother. But this type of one where it's just two guys traveling, I think was good. And the actor in it, I don't know who the main guy is, but got some potential. Got some potential. Don't know if he's super famous or not, but he probably is by now.
I think he's been in a couple of things from what I know, but like this is like his one big movie, really.
Yeah.
But what's his name? Sam Mendes was the director, and Roger Deakins shot it.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, no, it's I like how it's pretty much the premise isn't that intricate. It's pretty much just you got to send a message over to these guys because they cut the telephone lines basically, and it's like you gotta just go tell them don't go, and that's what all the whole thing is, just relying on them to just cross over all this different land. But like how like the battlefields that they cross over that are along all the dead bodies and whatnot, just the flesh around the dead man area. Like who would want to be there, man? That's they do a good job. Of course, that goes without saying. But I mean, how many films make that part of the main focus without it, with it making enough sense?
It is a beautifully shot movie. Great visuals, and it's actually based on the director's a story the director's grandfather used to tell.
That's right. Yeah,
it's based on a semi-true story.
That's good. And I mean, and the fact that it's mostly just two guys just going at it, I mean, it just kind of kicks off right away. Just, all right, we got a mission, we got to go. And they just start walking. They're just arguing with each other right away at the beginning. He's like, yeah, it's my brother. He's like, yeah, but dude, we got to do something here. And then, then the one guy gets killed. Spoilers.
Spoilers, man.
I was like, I didn't actually expect them to do that that early. If there was going to be a death, I figured one of them might get killed at some point in the film, but I was expecting it to be later. And just the way it kind of happens is like, that didn't need to happen at all, of course. But no, that was nicely done. Just nicely done. Especially because, a lot of us are probably used to or would reference Saving Private Ryan as like the go-to war film. But then again, there's a lot of war films nowadays. So
there's a lot.
Probably other ones to reference now. But
there's a lot of.
Have I seen them? That's a different question. So.
Well, we can always fix that.
Yep. We got one. All it takes is one small step. So.
Now, see, Tyrell, I hear you on this about how you wish there was more battle scenes. I get that, but I think what really sells you on this movie is the intimacy of the character work.
Yeah,
I get it. Yes, it would have been the battle scenes, but I really liked the character work of following just this one guy trying to deliver this message, and like the battles are really secondary around him because you're focused on what he's going to do and if he's going to survive.
He's just kind of weaving through battlefields going on. Yeah. He's like the type of detail. I mean, this one I'm trying to kind of hammer with what makes this kind of engaging is like the small things. Like he's just moving. They're moving past like a wire fence, and he cuts his hand. And they do other small things as they move around, just maneuvering around, and little cut by cut little injuries. The thing goes off. Ceiling collapses on them. Like they have to keep on going with whatever injuries they got with their medical supplies at the time, which is barely, and it's just keep the blood in as best you can, pretty much. And so I don't know, like they look dirty the whole time, which is, I know it's a weird thing to really like, but there's just so many movies that are clean. I do like it when they're filthy, and it makes you feel like they are in a hell type of state. The expressions that this kid pulls off is really well. When his friend's dying, it's such a really no, but like you got stabbed. Like what? You can't really what are you gonna do? So just it's good. Nice and good.
No, it is. It's really good because it's like you get down and dirty with following this soldier. So yes, it's war. So he's going to get dirty. Things are going to happen. People are going to get shot. It's that your friends don't always make it out. So I really thought they captured that aspect of it. And from what I know from my grandpa before he passed on, because he was in World War II, they don't really like talking about it. So it was lucky that this guy's grandfather gave him a decent story to go off of. And I'm sure Sam Mendes, studied the history of it and everything. So,
But I mean, like the fact that they have some things in the film that I don't know if you would need to have in there or who would think of it. But I mean, just simple roadblocks. Like literally, they're trying to go on a road with transportation. He's able to hitch a ride with some other soldiers for a little bit, but there's so much debris on this road, and it's such a muddy road. They're in such a crappy landscape that's just like that's going super slow. They keep on having to stop to move stuff out of the way for the trucks. Their tires get stuck. Like it's just not, and then they reach a bridge that's just out. So they're like, well, we have to go to another bridge, but that's way over there and out of the way where you're going. So you got to go on foot again. And it's like going on foot again. It's like it seems like we can walk even quite a distance ourselves. But I mean, what type of the landscape I feel is such a huge part of it. The humidity, whatever, like all the different factors with it. It's just like, man, it's got to suck. And you got to carry all your gear too, of course. I mean, the soldier in general. But again, he's off pretty much by himself. I mean, he's with a buddy, but then buddy gets killed, so he's got to do it on his own. I feel like that's a little different when you're in that type of area by yourself. So the film does a really good job. I feel like that's where like the long takes on it, or it's not cutting away a bunch, kind of helps because you're forced to look at him this whole time, following him, what he's doing, how he's feeling the whole time, pretty much. At least it feels that way. So
well, that's what
you're not really able to get a break from him too much in the movie. So you're forced to watch him literally just deteriorate.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised at you, Rookie. It wasn't some weird movie you saw on Netflix when Netflix first launched, so you had to buy it.
I'm not convinced that this is Rookie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You didn't see one of the Pixar yet, so
God damn,
he's gonna burn it. He's starting off to get hot when he brings out the disappointment.
He's been improving ever since I've been gone.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the first time he's been back since you've been gone.
No,
I was back one other time this month. Okay, I was like, I told you I'd go twice this month.
And I'm gonna say now that I'm done with school, I can teach this guy from now on.
Yeah, probably
the ways of film and filmmaking and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, if I knew you were going to be on this one, I would have watched Oppenheimer so we could talk about it. But I didn't watch it yet. I was kind of waiting to see when you're going to be on one next.
Hey, it's never too late. Never too late.
True.
If you find the time for 3 hours, it's worth it.
You're right.
All right, Mr. Graduate Film Director, what do you got for your first pick? Some kind of artsy fartsy film?
No, not necessarily. This is I don't know, it's a little thriller that I got on a 4K steelbook a little bit back. Wind River.
Wind River. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie. I watched it earlier today.
You sound very enthused.
Isn't this the one with Mel Gibson? He like talks to
No,
it's with or something.
No, it's with Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah,
okay.
by Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah, Tyler Sheridan. Yeah.
That's the only one of his I haven't seen yet. I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yet? It's a good one.
Yeah.
I like this one. I do like this one.
Yeah, it's good. It's not like amazing. I probably didn't love it as much as you, Greg, but I thought it was a good movie. Yeah, Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch.
It's super enthusiastic runner. I mean, like Rookie was even more enthused with his pick than you are with yours.
Well, I think 1917 is a little bit better than this. So I don't blame Rookie being more enthusiastic. I don't know. Like it's fine. It's nothing like mind blowing. It's nothing like I don't know.
It's
what's the gist? What's the gist of the premise?
The gist of the premise is like
hold on 1 second. I want to wish Heather Preston a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Heather Preston. I hope you have a good one. I see you in the chat all the time. I'm thankful for you, and I hope you have a really great birthday. Happy birthday, Heather.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I'm guessing you're under 30.
Wait a minute. It's somebody's birthday.
Do it up, Tom. Bat Tom.
All right. There's this thing I do when it's somebody's birthday. I get paid for it. But normally I do get paid for it. I'm going to do it for free tonight because I'm feeling extra special, cool, and stuff. So I just got to get my lyrics.
Because it's a hard song to remember. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Insert kid's name here. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
I love it.
I was going to do that in Channel 4 and Scooby Doo on Channel 2. Sounds like what that Tom would do.
I love it. Well, I hope that makes your day, Heather. I hope you appreciate that. But seriously, happy birthday. And thank you so very much for always being in the chat and hanging with us. All right, Runner.
And who is the dumbass who asked the lady her age?
Yeah,
I didn't ask her age. I just guessed she's under 30.
You never ask a lady her age. I still got scratches from Catwoman over that.
If anything, I insisted
to be fair, he
that
didn't
she's
ask.
under 30. That's like the biggest
I
compliment.
don't care. He
man can
came
give a
close.
Okay,
She's probably just blushing now, you know.
So back to
Never.
back to Wind River. It's about this.
Wind River.
River.
Just so Rook kind of understands,
Okay.
Jeremy Renner plays this like hunter type character, and he gets tied up into this whole situation where he sees a body, and it's this young adult woman who gets murdered and raped by somebody, and Elizabeth Olsen's character later shows up, and she's like the FBI. So it's her and Jeremy Renner's character that are trying to, find the pieces to what happened to this person. Like, they talk to the family, and then eventually they come across to who does it, all that sort of stuff. It's very, very simple premise.
Did you mention that she was a Native American?
Yeah. No, I did not. But yes, I should have mentioned that. And it's one of those types of stories where, like, at the end, it gives off a note about how common of a thing this happens and all that sort of stuff. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's even got John Bernthal, the Punishers, in the movie.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Very small part.
Very small part, but
Very small part.
I like the movie. It's a great crime thriller because it's Jeremy Renner. He's just like if I remember, when is he like fishing game maybe in that if I remember correctly or something. It's been a bit since I've seen it, but he's like, he works there. He was married to a Native American. They lost their daughter. She had been kidnapped.
That's it.
So he's got divorced, and then and now there's another. Now, like years later, there's this Native American girl has gone missing. Somebody they all know. Elizabeth Olsen comes in to investigate, and they're even surprised they even send anybody out, because usually they don't send anybody out. They just like ask a few questions and leave. And then she gets into this case with Jeremy Renner, trying to figure out what happened to this woman. If you've ever seen is it Taylor Sheridan? Taylor or Tyler, whatever. If you've seen any of his stuff, it's very much in that vein of what he likes to do. I thought it was a pretty solid crime thriller about Native Americans and stuff like that, and it has a pretty good ending to it. Even though it's not like the happiest of endings.
No. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if you're looking for like a decent crime thriller to watch, I'd give this one a shot. It's nothing mind blowing. It's just like it's a decent like thriller.
All right. Go ahead, Rick. Okay, I don't know if he was going to talk or if his mic went out on him or what.
Rook, you there, buddy?
See, this is why we don't invite him on.
Oh, he chuckled. He's still alive.
I don't know what he's doing.
I thought you were gonna elaborate more on the movie.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh,
we gave you the gist of the movie. That's legitimately the movie.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. There really isn't too much to talk about. Like, you would have to kind of watch it for yourself.
And it's about the plights of the Native Americans as well, too, who live on reservations, who feel like they don't, it's not like beating it over your head or something like that, but it's like, here's these Native Americans that are kind of left behind, that are still like trying to sort of live the Native American way, and on reservations and stuff, and how they get treated. So, but it's not like beating it over your head. So it's very Taylor Sheridan.
Exactly.
So, Anyways, there you have it. If no final words on that, fine. Tom, if you're ready for your first pick of the night, if you're there, we'll go to you for your first, whatever you decide you want to show. This Rookie and Runner come full of excitement tonight.
Well, I could go a couple of different places with this. Wow. Let's do this one first, I guess. Fuck it. I would like you to hold my hand.
Top Gun Maverick.
Hell yeah.
I was going to watch them.
Yeah. I had to watch it for Toxic Tuesday, so.
Oh yeah.
Watch it. I'm not a big fan of this steelbook cover though. It's kind of.
Really?
I think the back would have been almost the better cover, but.
I have that steelbook.
Oh yeah, with him in the front and then the Top Gun logo at the top. Yeah.
I don't know. It's all right. It's just yeah.
I thought about watching
inside to get him on the motorcycle.
Tom Cruise on a motorcycle? I have never seen that before, ever.
Never.
Never.
How
they
4K
do that?
native and Dolby Atmos, so it looks and sounds good. It's got the changing of the aspect for the IMAX sequences. Yeah, it's better than the original.
I agree with
what else
that.
Can I say
I
about
do
it?
agree with that. I mean, I know some people might not, but like we've talked about Top Gun before here on the channel and everything.
Mhm.
Top Gun is a fun movie. The original is a fun movie, but there's really not much story to it. Maverick is a movie with a story and characters. You know, not that the first one had characters, it didn't just quite have the story. So
no,
but
it's just
still
about
great
who's
movie.
going to win Top Gun, who's going to win Top Gun. Goose dies. Oh, we have a mission.
Yes, that's the extent of the first. And once again, it's a great movie. It is, but this one is a really great movie. If you know what I'm getting at here.
This is like, honestly, like for a sequel, it's like fucking perfect in my opinion.
It is.
I think it hits the right notes.
Yeah, because you don't even have to have seen the original.
Not really, no.
Beauty. It helps if you have.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
but
I think it helps for more of the emotional beats of it.
Yeah, but they give you more than enough. What's funny is this time I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, the scene that harkens back to the first movie where he has like the whole flashback with the, you know, during the Great Balls of Fire scene.
Mm-hmm.
I started laughing. It was kind of schmaltzy. It came off like a parody. But look, no, it's a great movie. The story is kind of, I mean, honestly, I still am not sure if the movie would have been better if Maverick would have died at the end instead.
I think about that.
I mean, because I'm watching it because the first time I saw it, I thought he did.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was kind of emotionally in that moment until he's alive. That's kind of cheap, but all right, okay. They kind of telegraph this similar thing in the beginning of the film, right?
Yeah.
And then you got the two of them together. It's a good ending, but it's just kind of like. It kind of feels, what's the word I'm looking for? Not schmaltzy, but
it almost feels like they brought him back because they knew maybe they was possibly going to get a sequel out of it.
Yeah, like they did a couple different versions, maybe, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's a good film.
Yeah.
Better than the original in a lot of ways. One of Tom Cruise's best.
Mm-hmm.
Better than any sequel has the right to be, especially 30 years after, 40 years after the original.
Mm-hmm.
Did what, Force Awakens didn't do, or The Last Jedi more so.
Mm-hmm.
What those movies should have done.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of fun, and I could recommend the Blu-ray. It's one of those, kind of like how the original film was a reference quality film for like Laserdisc and whatnot. This film is definitely, as far as newer movies go, a reference quality 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Being that it's shot for IMAX and whatnot. It is shot digitally, but it still looks pretty good since it's native 4K. So
and rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Yeah. Then you got that bit too, of course.
Which now that's going to hit a lot of people a lot harder now when they go to rewatch it.
Right.
Yeah. No, I've enjoyed the movie. I was surprised myself when I saw it because I'm not, you know how I am with newer movies. It's few and far between when I see them, and when I saw this, and I was like, this is better than the '80s movie. and that's hard to do. That is really hard to do. So I kind of wish they would not be making the third one. I understand they got the story
I'm
and
resistant
everything.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of resistant to that myself. I'm like, you kind of ended it really good right here. So let's leave it there.
I agree. When I heard Chris McQuarrie say that, oh, they figured it out, I'm like, wow, really? Like that's kind of shocking. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and Courtney Rogue, I mean, you can't be 80s music, right? Or even like some of the music in that movie wasn't even from the 80s. So modern music doesn't necessarily always blend in.
I thought the music in the new one kind of worked for what it was.
For the younger kids, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hold My Hand really kind of took the place of Take My Breath Away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you had the volleyball song in the first movie, was, and in this one it was the
Imagine Dragons, I believe.
Yeah, I think it
was. No, I don't think it was Imagine. I don't think it was Imagine Dragons.
No, it's
No.
Yeah, it's not them though. It kind of sounds like, I'm trying to think, it's some boy band. I'm trying to remember who it was.
It was Imagine Dragons. Let me look.
I don't think it was Imagine Dragons, but that song did really work for that scene, though. I thought. That's it.
And of course, they reused the Danger Zone song, so yeah.
Oh yeah, in the beginning. Yeah.
I'm looking.
I've played it a half a dozen times on Mead Radio, and I can't even remember who does it now. But yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out who it was, what song it was.
We're 1999 heroes. I ain't worried about it right now.
I ain't worried about it. One Republic. That's who it is. Yeah. One Republic. Okay, yeah.
I knew it was one something. Yeah.
Yeah, they're similar.
I knew it had a number, but I couldn't remember. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. But no, it's a good one. I do like it. I have the I don't have the fancy Steelbook 4K. I have the standard edition, but I'm fine with that. So.
Well, I got my kid that fancy cased one for Christmas. Yeah.
And who brought that on? And then you was that Robert my Burnett brought his on, and you were kind of like, oh no, I want to steal that for my kid. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't. Do you want to?
Yeah, I didn't have much else to say. We've talked about it enough times. I had to watch it for Toxic Tuesday, and I hadn't watched the 4K Blu-ray yet. I've only seen it in digital, so yeah, and I thought it looked really good. So yeah,
all right.
Sounded good too.
All right.
Well, I went to the danger zone.
The highway to the danger zone?
Yeah.
You've lost that love and feeling.
Whoa, I will say this much. It is pretty inspired, like how much what's his ass looks like Nerd Boy from the first
movie. Miles Teller?
Goose's kid. Yeah, Miles Teller.
Yeah.
How much he actually kind of looks like.
He does.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially that young with the mustache and everything.
Yeah.
Except I think maybe he's a little bit got a better build.
Probably taller. Yeah. But
yeah. No, yeah,
he's cool that he was in the first movie and the kid version of him. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that it does tie into and whatnot. Like, I mean, it does a pretty good job of that overall. And it's pretty easy to see why the movie did so well. So
yeah,
it hits all the right chords. So.
Yeah, I always kind of hate like
honestly one of the best IMAX experience I've ever had.
No,
I can see why.
Yeah, it was really good.
I always hate when they like do sequel to like 80s movies and like, oh, this person had a kid, but you'd never seen the kid ever before in the movie. So it was at least you knew that was precedent for that and they were at the right age. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll move on to my first pick of the night. Where do I guess I'll go with this one. Speaking of an 80s movie with an absolutely incredible cast. The story of the movie, maybe not the greatest, but I do love this movie. Tequila Sunrise with Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer, Kurt Russell, and no, he's not on the cover. Raul Julia is also in this movie as well. Incredible cast, and I really do love this movie. I don't know if anybody on the panel has seen it besides me.
I've heard of it.
Is that the one where Raul Julia's manager fucked up and he's like not even credited in the movie, or is that a different movie I'm thinking?
No, he's in this. He's actually I don't know why he's not on the cover, but like before Tequila Sunrise, even the title comes, says starring Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer, Kurt Russell, Raul Julia, Tequila Sunrise. That's
there was some movie that must not be this one then, but there was some movie that he got completely screwed out of credit for, and I can't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I'm thinking of another actor altogether, but I could have swore it was Raul.
No, he's got like fourth billing in this before the credits even roll. So or before the title rolls. So like I like this movie. I think this is a great movie. It's an incredible cast. It's from the director of Chinatown, the Academy Award winner director of Chinatown. It's about these two friends.
Roman Polanski?
No, Robert Town. Says Chinatown. Maybe he was sorry, not the director. I think he was writer. Sorry, my bad. I meant to say writer, not
okay.
Sorry,
I was gonna say what?
I meant to say the writer. Apologies. No, it's the writer of Chinatown, and he directed this as well.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Mel Gibson would ever work for Polanski.
Yeah, no. Especially with the type.
He'd be like, "Hey, kid diddler."
Yeah.
So what's the fucking shot here, diddle?
Exactly.
I was gonna say,
got any 13-year-olds back there in your trailer, huh?
I mean, other than that, it's
Sinner.
like when you said it was the director. Other than that, when you said it was the director of Chinatown, I'm like,
I meant writer. I'm sorry, I meant writer because I was reading the back. It said he wrote. The guy wrote and directed this, and I was saying direct, but I meant.
I was gonna say it's like I don't see him. I don't.
Did
see
Robert
that guy.
Towns direct the sequel, or did Jack Nicholson? No, I think Jack did, but I think Robert wrote
Nicholson
it.
Yeah, I think Jack Nicholson did
the two
Jakes. Yeah. But as
Which
far
is
as
a decent film until the ending. But anyway, back to this. Yeah.
yeah. No, with Tequila Sunrise, I like the movie. Personally, I don't think the story is. It's hard to explain because I really freaking love this movie. I think it's a great movie. I think everybody's giving amazing performances. It's a perfect cast. You couldn't ask for anything better. But I think maybe the story is a little predictable, is what it's at. But other than that, it's an incredible movie. So it's about these two friends. Kurt Russell, who is a cop, he's a lieutenant on the LA police force, and then Mel Gibson, who is a drug smuggler. He runs cocaine through the beaches of LA and everything, but he's retired, and so the guy that he works for is Carlos, is supposed to be coming to LA to finish off this big deal that they had planned. And so Kurt Russell doesn't want to arrest his friend. They're really good friends, but he's also, he wants to make his career. Then meanwhile, Michelle Pfeiffer is this woman who runs this restaurant that Mel Gibson keeps frequenting because he has a crush on her. He likes her. He thinks she's hot. And he wants to go out with her, but he's afraid she won't go out with him because of his reputation and everything. And then Kurt Russell ends up banging her. Spoilers a little bit, because he's trying to get to Mel Gibson's character, and she's kind of torn between these two guys. And she's actually really great in this character because she's not like a femme fatale or like this big boss lady or everything. She's just like this very innocent woman in between these two guys, and one of them actually really loves her. So I don't want to spoil it. I mean, I know it's like a 20-something, 30-something year old movie from the 80s. So if you've not seen it, but I'm trying not to, because some people don't like when I give spoilers. But yeah, and then Raul Julia comes in, who is a Mexican police officer coming in to, help out. And he's really great in this movie. And then JT Walsh is in this as well, too, who works for the FBI, who wants to arrest Mel Gibson, but Kurt Russell doesn't want to because they're friends, but he also wants to make a career. So it's like got this whole like mystery surrounding like who's Carlos, what's going to happen, who's she going to pick up with. And it's a very grown-up movie. You know what I mean? They don't make grown-up movies like this anymore, because like we talked about, everything is a superhero movie or a franchise action flick like Fast and the Furious or something. They don't make smaller, even though this is like 2 hours long, they don't make grown-up movies like this or just movies like this anymore. But like the cast is incredible on this. If you've never seen it, I do recommend the movie. Like I said, the story is a little predictable. Once you get into it, you'll pretty much guess all the twists and turns. It's not as smart as it wants to be. I think that's the problem with it. It's not as smart as it wants to be, but it's an incredible movie, and I do really enjoy the movie. So do you guys yourself a favor and check that out if you've never seen it. It's a pretty solid flick. Yeah. So, like I said, the cast is absolutely perfect in this movie. It's you couldn't ask for a better cast. I mean, Mel Gibson and Kurt Russell. That's like talk about
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a solid.
And Michelle
fucking cast.
Pfeiffer in her prime when she's like, she looks absolutely knockout in this movie.
Oh yeah.
So, it works. A bunch of pretty people doing things on film. So. Yeah, but no, it's pretty solid. And like Raul Julia, when he comes in, man, he steals. Like when he comes in, he steals the movie. You like he comes.
I feel like that dude steals any movie. Even
he does.
Even when he's Bison in Street Fighter.
I mean, the man was an incredible talent, incredible actor. He doesn't get enough credit, but like when he comes into this movie, and like. How do I just
Wait,
like
does he play a villain in does he play a villain in this?
I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to spoil it because he is a Mexican cop in this, but I don't want to spoil this movie. So,
okay.
I mean, it's from 1986, I want to say. So
it
like
says 88. I'm looking it up right now.
88. So I mean, it's been that many years ago. I'm sure people have seen it, but some people don't like when I spoil movies out in the chat. So I try to be a little, even though sometimes I can get the better of myself when I start talking about the movie. So, but no, he's great. Like he sings in this and everything, and he's just like an incredible character in this movie. So like when like I said, this cast is already stacked. You're already getting great performances by Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer, Kurt Russell, even J.T. Walsh, who is a great character actor himself. And then Raul Julia comes into the movie and it just like amps the movie up another level. It's like, holy shit, this movie is stacked. So, but like I said, I do think the story is not as smart as it wanted to be coming from Robert Towne. You know what I mean? Like after writing Chinatown and all that. But it's a great solid flick, if you get what I'm saying. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. So, but yeah, that was my first pick of the night. So there you guys have it. Check it out, everybody out in the chat and viewing on YouTube and Twitter if you've never seen it. If you like those people,
sounds cool.
Yeah, it's an adult. I know you two youngins down there. It's an adult movie.
Oh, you want to hear adult movie? Like,
and I don't mean like an adult movie. I mean for grown-ups.
I know that, but I got a movie in one of my picks that's very like heavy.
Debbie Does Dallas.
Yes!
Finally!
Back.
No.
We are so back.
Well, that's an adult movie.
Well, it's a different kind of adult movie.
Party pooper.
What is it?
Well, I'll show it off when I'm next.
Well, since you're already talking now, you go and then I'll go and then Tom. So
Really, you don't want to go?
it's fine. I'll go, but we're segueing. You know, that's a good.
I'm done.
You want to see an adult film or something.
Oh, it's not really like an adult film, but it's not something that you would want to show your kids, if that makes sense.
So, which one of you? Because I'm done. I mean, do you guys self-either get Tequila Sunrise? Great movie. So Rook
Also
Runner,
a good
it's up
drink.
to you guys. I was thinking more a song like the song
He
from
is
the
such
Eagles.
a college boy now.
Just another tequila sunrise.
Is that on the soundtrack?
No, I wish it was, but it's not.
What?
It's
No,
not
actually,
even
it
in
has
the
a
movie.
pretty good soundtrack, but I can't remember what
It
else.
does.
On
It does, but it's not. That's not.
Right.
The Eagles
Well,
ain't on there.
Yeah, if he's not sure, then I'll go. That's fine. We'll
Go.
transition
Go.
from as FanZcene said, this adult movie to another movie that has Kurt Russell in it and Bruce Campbell and stuff.
Sky High.
Yeah, hi, yeah, there you go.
And you full screen.
Are you
Full screen.
motherfucking
Yes,
kidding me? I hope you've had that since you were a kid.
I
Please
did.
tell
yeah.
me. Okay, thank you. Then
Yes.
I will excuse it this time.
I don't know. I haven't looked if they have newer versions of it or.
No,
I
it's
have the
full
Blu-ray.
screen.
Yeah,
So
I had the
full.
Blu-ray of this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. No, I
It
gave
is
it a
a good
rewatch.
movie,
I might have
but
brought this on before, but I didn't really talk about it because I didn't
I don't
rewatch it at
think
the
so.
time. But I have now, and no, I love it even more now in a way. It's like they're doing it's by Disney, but surprisingly, it's not it's different than a lot of the other ones. You got Kurt Russell playing the commander. He's got his wife Jetstream. One's got super strength. One's got flight. They're very aware of comic book stuff, superheroes and whatnot, but they're like in a bizarre kind of world with it, where there's a high school where their kids go there and they divide them from heroes, sidekicks, whatever, but they call them hero support. They're like kind of making fun of, progressive stuff ish in the movie throughout a little bit. Bruce Campbell's the coach, essentially. He's like, Sonic Boom, whatever they call him, Boomer and whatnot, which is kind of funny today with stuff. But I don't know. It's just a good one in general. Will Stronghold, he doesn't have powers. He's like one of the only kids that has two parents with superpowers, and he is one that doesn't. But he's trying to like convince them that he does. Basic little comedy stuff you'd expect from Disney back in the day. And Kurt Russell, the funny stuff with there, especially the gag with this phone. He's like, typing, I'm going to call up school right now. Crushes it. He's got like a drawer full of phones because he breaks phones all the time. So these guys, it's a little enemy right there. Warren. Peace. There's another enemy, Royal Pain, with the gun that turns people into babies. It's a bizarre movie, you guys, but it is fun. There's a lot of stunts. Like they in the bonus features, they even show like them talking about their stunt work in it, because they get flung through everything a whole bunch, smashed through walls. They have a fat guy who is a speedster. They got a long guy who's a sort of a villain.
Now I know where you got.
I was gonna say that's you.
I know. I was like, dude, I forgot. I completely forgot. They actually did have a fat guy who's fast, and that's in Sky High. They have the fat guy. He's a little speedster, but it works. The sidekicks in it have like weird powers. Like one kid can melt. One kid can glow. Like if you're in the dark room, he can kind of glow. Like a glow stick sort of a thing. One chick can turn into a guinea pig, but but by the end of the film, they like do have them utilize their powers in ways that all sort of defeat the villain and whatnot. But it's just a good one. It's not like amazing, of course, but with all the superhero ones, but it does in a way with all these different superhero ones. Like even there's super. I forget who's in that, but a guy from The Office, I think, is in that one. I just saw that recently too. That one, I was like, "What the hell?" That's out of all these other ones that come up, Kick-Ass,
Super,
Blade, Super.
It's
all
the
these
James Gunn movie with
all these different types of superhero movies is what I'm kind of getting at. And it's like in this one, there's not ones that are like this one, I would say, either. And I don't think there's any continuation of any kind. There's no. I don't know if there's any comic book continuation of a story. It's just this one little story in its own little world. And that's it. And I think it's worth a watch if you haven't seen it. It is funny. So,
believe it or not, I have not seen this movie.
Even I've seen this. I own this on Blu-ray. I do like this movie, actually.
I do want to watch it though. I might give it a chance at some point. When you said this movie had Kurt Russell and Bruce Campbell, that was not the movie I thought you were going to show. I thought you were going to show Escape from LA.
No.
It's funny because Kurt Russell started like how Corley and Rugg talked about. It's a classic movie, like presented. Kurt Russell like started in these Disney movies when he was a kid. So he did like the kid that was the really
strongest
strong
man in the world.
Strongest man in the world. I couldn't think of the name of it. He started in all those movies. And he was in a lot of Westerns because his dad was a character actor in Westerns. So
yeah. Well,
have you seen Tombstone yet, Ricky?
No, I haven't, but I have not seen it yet.
Oh, you have it though.
Yes, I do have it, but I have not seen it yet.
There you go, Oppenheimer and Tombstone. Get those watched.
Other ones, heck yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that they haven't tried to milk something like Sky High with superhero stuff going around, because I feel like why not? I mean, especially the cast that's in it. Daniel Panabaker. I don't know if the main kid's done anything, or same with the villain.
Because a few years later, they just turned around and bought Marvel. So why would they?
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
This was like Disney tried with Sky High. They tried with John Carter. They tried with Tron to make.
What year was Sky High?
And then they
Lone Ranger.
Yeah, Lone Ranger. Then they just bought Marvel and then Star Wars. So
what year was Sky High?
2005.
2005.
Okay, yeah, that was right. Okay, yeah, you're right. Wow. Okay, right around that time. But I mean,
didn't
but
do
it's
all
weird
that great
Sky
anyway at the box office. It was okay.
Yeah, it was kind of it wasn't a huge hit or anything. So
yeah, but it is one of those ones in retrospect I feel is like should get more credit.
What's
than it
funny
did.
is all these satirical superhero movies like predated a lot of the superhero craze, when I feel like if movies like that and Mystery Men and stuff like that had come out now, I think they do so much better, because we're at that point now where we've seen the cliches. We're kind of getting sick and tired. It's run its kind of course. Regardless of the woke crap, superhero fatigue is starting to set in, I think, a little bit.
Definitely. And this one does play on a lot of stuff, especially there's actually an alternate opening scene that I just found out when rewatching this. Like, oh wow, there's actually an alternate scene they had, in which they utilize in the movie during like a flashback thing. They sort of show them fighting Royal Pain the first time, but they show that, and when Commander meets Jetstream for the first time, and he's like, well, I haven't seen you since Sky High. What's up? It's like, yeah, I'm real estate now. Oh, that's your cover. Nice. I tried doing the reporter thing, but I don't know, I wanted something else. So just like, they do little hints and nods to other superhero things throughout the whole thing, but they're not trying to be them. They are unique in the movie, which is, again, refreshing in a way. And clever with it. I mean, they have like a save the citizen thing for PE, where they imply like, yeah, nobody ever saves them. They always get shredded. And like, I remember when just small jokes, like, remember when we used to use real citizens and they always get chopped up. You see the dummy get chopped up and it's like, wow, you just kill people? Okay. That's just funny, subtle jokes. The guy who voices the one-eyed alien and Lilo and Stitch is in this, is like the mad scientist guy. He's with this, I forget. I assume he does lots of voice work and stuff, so he's probably more known for that stuff. But he's funny in this. He's got the mad scientist.
Guy from Kids in the Hall.
Oh, that kid. Oh, yeah. Or that guy.
I want to say McDonald is
Shit, I'm trying to think of his name. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I know he's I would have said his last name is McDonald for some reason.
Yeah, I think Kevin McDonald
something like
or something.
That. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But he's in it.
Will be corrected in the chat.
Yeah, and he's the evil character in it. And when he gets turned into a baby, he's still himself. Essentially, they just make his voice smaller, and just funny hearing him. It's small too. I don't know. They do a lot of funny stuff in here. Just small jokes, not stuff that's like super hilarious, but just enough to keep you on your toes, and it's just funny. So it's a good one. Even the War and Peace, but he's got like fire powers, but it, as far as I can tell, I haven't seen anybody where it just, crawls up the arms and that's pretty much all it does. He doesn't get the whole body and get to fly and whatever. They sometimes minimize the ability, but still make it seem kind of cool for what it is. But,
it's probably a lower budget, so they probably didn't have it. So it's creative.
Too bad you didn't have the widescreen DVD of that. It looks like the DVD is worth a bunch for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess so. But maybe they'll get some type of resurgence. And I mean, if Disney is digging through their past stuff one day to remake them, I mean, they could destroy this one as far as redoing it in some way, or continuing it, or they could surprise us and do it well. But I doubt it, because with all the other superhero influences around, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Disney to touch this movie.
I don't either.
Yes, Meg Kelly.
It's good on its own. I'm glad it exists in its own little bubble, and it's just nice that it's there. I like it. Just stay there. You're your own thing. You're not a huge continuation. Nobody tried to milk you. And a lot of the humor is funny. Again, like Kurt Russell with his strength, he always accidentally breaks certain things. Like he's trying to do pull, like just jams the stick through the thing. He's that's just like a small joke. It's not even like big. It's just like small little things. It's like little funny jabs.
It's a decent movie. I think there's enough in that for kids and adults to watch together.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I mean, even like a funny hitting on a chick. He's like, "Oh, she's not my girlfriend," and then the nerdiest character goes, "Hey, I'm Larry." It's like the nerd guy says that, which is like the funniest giant rock guys with superpower. They did a lot of like classic things you'd expect for some superpowers, but then a lot of goofy fun ones for it too. Like this one chick can turn into like a rubber ball just randomly. This one guy's got super acid spit, which is dumb, but I don't know. They categorize them into heroes and sidekicks, and then I don't know. It's just funny little things, but good one. It sounds like most people have probably seen it. I mean, it came out 2005, so around that area. seemed like people were fishing for superhero stuff. So
Well, yeah, there was Disney was trying. They were trying until they just ended up buying the competition and screwing everybody over. So,
yeah,
but it is a decent movie. You're lucky you've had that since you was a kid because it's full screen, man. Full screen.
I mean, I'm fine with full screen. I mean, and like I don't know, like it's fine. Like
you gotta. I
mean, widescreen it's the better option.
Definitely. Okay. With that being said, what about you, Runner? Are you finally ready to show a movie?
God, this is not kid friendly at all. This is. Have any of you seen this movie or heard of it?
what is it?
Happiness.
I have, yeah.
Oh, you have.
I haven't
Okay.
seen
never
it,
seen
but I've
it.
heard of it.
Oh, you haven't. Oh, you haven't seen it. Okay. Yeah. Talk about a fucked up movie.
All right,
Talk about it then.
tell me about it. I don't know.
It's basically and this is the 4K release that Criterion released not that long ago, but you're basically following a bunch of like people who go through situations, and some of the characters are like very, very kind of fucked up. Oh God, you saw it in the theaters. Yeah, it is pretty depressing at times for sure.
Hope it's not another Midsummer.
It's not that. No. No, this is a better movie than that. But it just like how do I explain this without like getting in trouble
You
or
mean
anything?
happiness isn't happy?
Well, that's the thing. The title kind of throws you off. It's how do I say this? Like fucking Dylan Baker, like you know who that actor is?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That character in particular, oh my God. Like the arc that character has is just fucking like unbelievable. It's like I don't want to get into it just because it's like let's just say that his character is very fucking just disgusting. Like
I don't know anything about the movie yet, so I don't know what to imagine yet.
I don't know how to explain this, Rook. Like you gotta watch it yourself.
So what is something the guy or main character experiences?
Okay, so like I'll give you like one thing, and like I don't know if I want to get into that character yet, or if I can at all, just because his arc is probably the most disturbing of them all. But like, for example, Philip Seymour Hoffman's in this. He's like one of the characters in it, and he tries to like, call, he wants to like fuck women and shit, and he's like very like, how do I say this? Like he's kind of in his own world in the sense where like, yeah, like he gets like really fucked up and he's a little creepy at times. So fucking weird ass movie. It's very fucked up.
Thanks, Runner, for bringing on.
I'm sorry, you've not convinced me at all. I don't know what.
I don't.
You go.
I don't know how to sell this movie to you. That's the thing.
Well, just like going through a little bit of what happens. I guess
you got to watch the movie for yourself.
Well, yeah, but like, it's one of those things where there's all these movies I gotta watch, but like, is this going to be anywhere higher up on the list? I mean, maybe depending on how it sounds, but this sounds boring.
Like what Steven said it right there. Can't really describe this on air. If I describe this more in depth, it's like, I don't know. It's like I might. It's really hard to talk about this like on the air and the internet, especially on YouTube and stuff, because it's very very vile and fucked up. If that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, but we talked about Midsummer on here, so.
Oh, that's nothing compared to this.
From what I understand, this is you can't describe a lot of what happens in this movie.
No, you can't. No, you can't. I can describe it better, like backstage when we're not live. I would have to describe it to you then, Rook. I just thought I'd bring this on in case any of you seen or heard of this.
I just heard of it. That's all. I've never seen it.
Okay.
Good night, Rick. Stay safe out there, buddy. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. All right. Well, before we go any further and get in trouble here.
Yeah.
Runner's bringing all kinds of fun tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding, Rook. It's I would have to describe it to you like privately, like what things happen in this movie. And I knew I wouldn't be able to describe it too well in the air, even though I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll show this one.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's go. Tom, how about you? What do you got for us for your next pick of the night?
Well, are we going to do our combined ones here?
You want to do those now?
Well, I was going to start with the prequels, but yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I watched a bunch of Star Wars movies. I'll start with these down here. So I finished off the Star Wars trend with Attack of the Groans. And I also have the useless 4K Blu-ray of that. And Blu-ray. And same thing for Revenge of the Snitch. There we go. So.
I did bring mine.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no sense in upgrading to 4K.
Yeah, I have no desire to get the 4K.
Well, just in general, because they were filmed in 1080i or 1080p anyway, so like, and I guess they don't really do any. I didn't notice any like over like softening or manipulation or anything from the up convert or whatever you want to call what happened to these.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if they did that. But there's Ailia all over these things. And it looks fake and bad as hell. But that being said, I mean, honestly, episode 2 and 3, 2 has always been my least favorite of the prequels, and I think most people's least favorite of the prequels. And episode 3 is okay, but it honestly, it just hasn't aged as well as I think some people feel like it has, at least in my opinion. There's so many parts where it's just a lot of the same problems as the earlier films, but just so laggy and takes forever to get through. And some of the dialogue is cringe as hell. And the fight goes on forever. And it does have its issues. So yeah, I can't really recommend upgrading to these if you already have them on Blu-ray. You pretty much have them, so. Yeah. I mean, unless you really want to upgrade to the Dolby Atmos, which I didn't really notice anything stupendous.
Yeah, I've been pretty fine with my. No, I didn't watch the prequels. I kind of was wanting to watch Rise of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. I do like Revenge of the Sith, but I haven't seen it in a while, Tom, so I can't. But I do remember liking that one. But I haven't watched the prequels in a while.
Yeah, it is probably one of the best of the prequels, or the best of the prequels, but it's the one I have probably some of the most issues with canonically because of all the shit that happens in that.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of issues with the Revenge of the Sith?
Well, the first thing that bothered me when I'm watching the film is when the one that stood out the most to me initially was when they're like, she's losing the will to live. We can't explain why.
Yeah, that was a little
but yet
weird.
she's
I will say it's a little dumb
to give the babies a name and all this other bullshit, and it really causes some problems when you have Mark Hamill later going, "Tell me about your mother, your real mother," because then it's like, so who the fuck is she talking about?
Yeah.
I kind of wish we didn't see what happened necessarily. We don't need to
Honestly,
see
I
every
agree. They
change
should have
go
just
up.
kind of. Well, honestly, it was like, look, she got choked. Like she was unconscious when they brought her on the fucking ship. She's gonna die.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
We can
but, like,
save the babies. And then
Yeah.
that's where you just cut it there. It's like, okay, the babies are born, she dies, and then you have the scene as you have it where they're just sitting around going, well, now what the fuck do we do? You know? But the other issues are like, oh God, just so many, like, well, of course of all, the midi-chlorians from the first film was a big issue that kind of got introduced.
I don't like the robot voices that the droid voices they changed from the first. I mean,
Well,
this may sound like a small gripe, but like
and Anakin's
no,
turn is so redonkulous, right?
a little.
Like,
Yeah.
look, let's be real. There's nothing that really holds water in that whole thing. And right after he kills fucking Samuel Jackson and you know, fucking Palpatine's all like, good, you are now Darth Vader. And he's like, thank you, my master. You know, we'll be able to save my wife from dying. Only one has achieved this power, but together, I'd be like, wait a minute. Time
Yeah,
the fuck
feel like
out.
it would have been more interesting if Anakin
You sold me a
like
false bill of goods.
that might have been more interesting if Anakin didn't pledge himself right there. If he was like, well, hold on, then no way. And then something else happens where he is able
Well,
to
it's
convince
because-
him or like hey, if you don't do this for me, then I'll kill your wife right now. I have
Look,
my guys
I'll be
ready to
honest
go.
with you.
Something
And
like
not only that, I'm still trying to figure out where that shot comes in that's in the fucking Jedi archives. Like, when did Palpatine show up? Because either that or they have a camera in his office this whole time. I'm like, and I think it's supposed to be after he's killed everybody and he's like outside or whatever, like, and Palpatine shows up, I guess. It is really convoluted. Like, this movie has so many convolutions in it to try and get it to the finish line. And
You're
the
talking about
problem is,
when they go back and then he's like when Obi-Wan is seeing the hologram or whatever.
yeah,
So you're
and he's like, I
referring
gotta
to-
see,
yeah.
I must see, or whatever. And Yoda's like,
yeah.
don't look at it, like it, you will not. You know, and like he's like, we all
Yeah, that
know who
was
did
weird.
this. You know, you needed to set this up a little bit better. The sudden turn is so stupid over the fear of losing Padme, which is just redonkulous. Like, I get it. He's got this issue with. First of all, this whole idea that Jedi can't be like in love with anybody or have attachments is so stupid to begin with. It's like, what are they, fucking monks? Like, do they not reproduce? And especially when you have something like the Luke Skywalker legacy or the Skywalker legacy, where clearly you pass that shit on. Wouldn't you want to reproduce more and more Jedi?
Yeah. Which is funny about that because some kid asked George Lucas even after this one is out, is like, can Jedis have kids? And George Lucas said, yeah, they can. So,
Oh, I guess they do address it somewhere in the EU, like they actually do have children, but they just don't have attachment to them or whatever.
Yeah, they don't need to put their love into it. Just
Exactly,
their,
and which is redonkulous. And this makes, and that's the thing, is Lucas painted the Jedi as this soulless, creepy fucking cult that steals your kids, right? and then on top of it all, like, why are they all dressed like that? And this is one
Yeah.
thing I got to agree with the fucking red letter media people, like, and this bothered me from the start, is like, why are they all dressed like what Obi-Wan is dressed like on the fucking desert planet? He's dressed that way because he's an old man in the fucking desert. He's not dressed that way because he's a Jedi. Look at how Luke is dressed in Return of the Jedi. That is probably how most of the Jedi dressed, because you want to be in a very tactile suit and enough, or at least you don't want flowy things when you're using a fucking lightsaber. You're going to set your ass on fire. Okay,
you can switch from noble to warrior in like a flip of the switch. Like, with
well,
your
he's
clothes.
trying to make him
Take it
feel
off,
more like
right?
samurai is what it is. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's cool if you're going to keep with that. But then you have the other problem where the lightsaber battles do not match up. And I know some people are like, well, what are you talking about? Like, well, here's the problem, because when you had the first films, Lucas told Mark Hamill and the stuntman for Darth Vader that the lightsaber is heavy and you have to use two hands to swing it because it's so heavy. It's like you're working against gravity, like this whole thing. So even Mark Hamill commented on this once. There's an interview out there, you can find it, where he's like, you know, when I did it, he told me it's like so heavy, so I was always acting like it was so heavy, and now these kids are flipping around with it and everything. Is like, oh, if I could have done that, you know, it's like, Yeah, like it does kind of take away some of the whole importance of having a lightsaber when you can just pull it out and put it away, pull it out and put it away, do whatever you want with it, wherever you want, flip it around, fly it around, do whatever. Like it just kind of, and by the end of the second film, there's so many fucking lightsabers. It's like we're having a lightsaber orgasm here. Like, how many more lightsabers can we shove into this thing? I don't know. But I mean, when you've already blown your load on the double-bladed lightsaber, you've already kind of done the most you can do with a lightsaber at this point, because everything from here on out is just trying to redo that, right? So that was the first problem. Is the movie should have started with Count Dooku instead of Darth Maul. Darth Maul should have been the second comer, and you don't even need Grievous.
Dooku should have been at least the main antagonist in a way, like the public main antagonist, maybe. Or
in that case, but the thing is, you can't have three. Stuff. So, like,
yeah,
you know,
there are only two.
Yeah, so what you have is then, like, Darth Maul should have come in the second film. And you're right, like, Count Dooku should have been, like, this political guy between the world of the Jedi and politics, and it turns out he's a Sith, right? Like, that we can... And he's the Phantom Menace.
I'm saying that would have visually made more sense for most people in the Phantom Menace when they're doing the Trade Federation on Naboo. They would be like, "Oh, Dooku," because then in the second film he's like leading the Separatists. So
and like, Lucas even admit that he fucked up with these movies, and I think it's on the interviews for Episode 3 where he basically flat out says, "Yeah, I noticed I had like 5 minutes of story in the first film, 5 minutes of story in the second film. Then I got to the third film and realized, oh crap, I got like 5 hours of story to tell and only 2 hours to do it in."
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, thank you, moron. Because not to call him a moron, but still, it's true. It's like he should have started this thing in a way different way.
He probably had too much fun, like with the pod race, the speeder race, like all these different sequences that are like, okay, that's fine, but ultimately those sequences aren't like serving the greater story here.
Well, first of all, like Divergence in the Force was kind of stupid to begin with, like having Anakin not have a father and all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
and just all sorts of other problems from the very start. And then when you get to the third film, it just doesn't line up very well with the sequels, even though some people will fight up and down tooth and nail that they do. It's like, it just doesn't fit. It's like trying to shove a fucking triangle in a circle hole.
You mean with the OG? Like, to match with the OG, you mean?
Yeah. And I mean, there's also like other ways and things they could have done. And again, I could just sit here go all day of how I would have done it differently. But and fundamentally, it just does not line up, and you have so many problems. And I mean, Qui-Gon Jinn was probably one of the better characters, and he's gone. And
he probably shouldn't have been. He probably could have been like, you know, maybe not Obi-Wan's master or something, but a Jedi that they know, because, like you said, that doesn't really line up with the OT, where he's like, you know, I decided to take it upon myself to train Anakin, and then when we see the prequels, it's like Qui-Gon passes it to him. It's like
Dooku he's Dooku's student, so they kind of set up through Dooku that's where he got his defiance from, right? Like,
he's kind of this
Qui-Gon as a character kind of version of them.
Qui-Gon as a character is good, but like as far as matching Obi-Wan up with the OT, like that doesn't make us like he didn't have the desire to train Anakin at all. Qui-Gon did. So
they needed to come up with a million different. They could have come up with so many different better ways of telling the story. I mean, the Clone Wars didn't even make sense to me. Exactly. I mean, I don't think the politics made that much sense to anybody. And I really am sure if you go through it with a fine-tooth comb, it doesn't really make any sense. But that being said, like, and there was a few other things like that bothered me because you asked, you know, what are the first? Because there's still more, a laundry list of things.
Well, then what's the opposite? What's like some of your favorite stuff with the prequels?
Well, the favorite things in the prequels. I mean, Episode 1 feels the most Star Warsy. The music is amazing.
Shot at actual practical effects, practical sets for the most part.
But then again, at the same time, they went and edited it all digitally, so the version that's in 4K sucks. But
yeah,
I mean, there's elements of the Revenge, like the tone of the Revenge of the Sith. I feel like he got right. The best moment in the movie is when there's absolutely no dialogue, and that is the quiet before the storm, and that is the shot where it simply shows Padme on one side of the screen, quietly looking out, and Anakin on the other side of the screen, quietly looking out just before he makes the decision to go intervene. That to me is one of the best scenes in the whole movie, because it says so much without saying jack shit, and the emotion is there compared to a lot of the other times where everything feels so technical. See, that's the other problem with these movies, is George was able to be so technical with him. I mean, he's splicing performances together here, and it kind of shows. And it makes everybody's acting feel a little stilted and very by the numbers, and nobody was able to really emote. And that gets me to my overall issue with the movie I was trying to get to in the first place, is that it doesn't have a main character, and Anakin Skywalker can't be your main character. Because he doesn't, first of all, he doesn't even come into the story until an hour into the movie in the first movie. And he is a villain by the end of the story, so you can't have him be the protagonist. Clearly, Obi-Wan Kenobi should have been the character we were following this entire time.
Mhm.
It should have been from his perspective from the very start. And that's a main issue that I have with it all. I mean, Yoda should never be fighting with a lightsaber. That's another fucking problem I have with the movie. Yoda should have been the one to go after Grievous anyway instead of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan should have went to Kashyyyk, because then that would explain how he fucking understands how to speak Wookiee in episode 4, and then that way you just never actually have him meet Chewbacca, right? It's like, and just because we're on a Wookiee planet doesn't mean Chewbacca has to fucking be there.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Because at this point, as far as we don't know where Chewbacca is anyway, and he's probably already off doing stuff close to, if not with Han already.
He doesn't have
so
to
he
be on
shouldn't
his
fucking
own
be
planet
there.
or something.
And
No.
they actually filmed a little cameo with Han Solo that didn't end up in the movie. I don't know if you guys knew about this or not.
Yeah. I
No.
know.
I've
It
heard
got
that
cut
as
out.
a
Yeah,
I didn't
Greg
know that
knows
was an
about it.
actual thing, though.
No, yeah,
I heard
they had
that
a
was
little
joke.
kid Han Solo show up in one shot that was this kid that was supposedly raised by Wookiees. I'd rather have that version than the one we got, but
For Solo, yeah, gotcha.
but I
That
mean,
is
here's the other thing: is
weird.
they should have shown the Wookiees, more like if that's where how if Chewie, that's how he got captured and thrown into prison, and that's how him and Han met. Cool.
Yeah.
Show that stuff, but otherwise we don't need Chewbacca there, because that was the other problem, is the prequels were boxing themselves in too much.
Yeah, I was about to say that for as much as they try to lead things right into the OT, they also don't set up enough things for the OT, really.
Well, and
in a way.
3PO shouldn't have been built by fucking Anakin. Like, what the hell is that shit?
There's a lot of problems. There's no denying that at all.
I guess if anything, it's kind of like why would he need a protocol droid on Tatooine?
Well, why would he build an identical protocol droid to something that's built on an assembly line in a factory? Like, why?
Yeah. I guess you'd think it'd be more creative, more.
Yes, exactly. What the
kid
fuck use does he
imagination.
have for a protocol droid? And he's like, I built it for Mom. What the fuck use is your mother gonna have for a protocol droid? Like,
That's
even
what I
Filipino
was.
had to convince them that he's worth something in the episode. Like,
That was my issue, honestly. Was like, why do you need one? I mean, I know that they buy a protocol droid. Luke,
even
does.
Uncle Owen, what's the first thing he says? I got no use for a protocol droid.
But
Yeah.
he's like, I need you to understand binary language or something. But that's
Binary
no.
load lifters. I know that
Yeah.
language. There you go. That's where he proved. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah,
Sure. He
the
lied his
viewers
ass
on
into the
it,
job. Yeah. Leading us
Anyway.
into the actual movies, as you got there, and I do too.
I did finish because I did bring on this one not too long ago, but I did finish off the original OG trilogy, the unedited versions. I will never go back. I will never watch those
Yeah.
Blu-rays ever again.
I hope they find a little bit better version of Empire, because
Yeah, Empire's
Empire
a little.
looks a little shaky. Yeah.
It's a little scratchy. It's got a lot of the scratchies and blips in it and stuff. So,
Well, it's
yeah.
just in rough shape. It's the best one
Yeah.
they could find. But I hope somebody has a 70mm release out there somewhere, because A, that would look amazing, and B,
Mhm.
it has the original version of the ending on it. Because for those who don't know, there was 2 different versions of this movie when it was first released. Because the 70mm cut was done first, and then George decided to add a few bits into the 35mm version for the massive release. So there was, like, for years where people were like, no, there was a different version of it, or I saw it differently, or didn't see it the same way, and it looked different when I saw it on video or on HBO. That's why.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
you saw it in 70mm, it was like a minute or two shorter than the other version. It's just, I guess, little differences, but like, you can see it out there. It's on YouTube, I guess, or somewheres.
Mhm.
It's out there. Just type in like Empire 70mm differences or whatever. So like, and George was well known for fucking and tinkering with everything all the damn time.
all the time. Good night, Dragonzilla. Thanks for hanging with us.
Yeah, usually it
yeah.
was a sound, but yeah,
Yeah,
to begin with. But
yeah, and plus, I mean, like when Star Wars the originals hit the shelves and stuff, it became Episode 4. So he changed
well, that was
that.
in the
and
first
everything,
re-release.
so,
But yeah,
yeah, in the re-release. But no, I enjoyed the original, and watching these. And I don't know if you want to talk about the prequels anymore, but watching the originals
I'm
here
pretty much done with those.
in the form like this as they were originally seen, it reminds me why we loved Star Wars. It reminds you why you love Star Wars. And I don't give a shit if people like Andor or not. That destroys the whole legacy of the original. It's just like all those shows and all the new Disney stuff, just like I get it. You know, I get why people get so like, I can't watch the original Star Wars now because of this. But like, if you watch these, you'll understand how great the original Star Wars was. And it does bring your love back to that original story with Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, and Lando, and the Emperor, and all that. And these are beautiful. You know, I am so thankful to Rick for these versions of the film. But yes, this is Star Wars, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Jedi looks the best of all three, obviously, because it's the newer of the three. It does have a little bit of vinegar syndrome as you get into it. There's several versions of these out there, depending on, like, I mean, they're all from the same scan, but they have like ones that have more DNR and some other business. So you can do your pick and choose. But yeah, like, I mean, the fact that the fans have gone to this extent and we have these versions now is the best we're going to get until somebody gets their hands on the raw scans from the original negatives. So
yeah. And I mean, what can you say?
It'd be nice if those accidentally just got dumped online somehow from Disney. I'm sure they're there, but yeah.
You know, they're waiting for the moment George Lucas dies so they can.
Yeah, I've heard it from enough sources now that that's pretty much what they got to wait on.
They're waiting. I mean, like you said, what can you say about Star Wars? It's the reason we watched them at 525. You know, that was the original release date of Star Wars, which is funny. I find it funny that, like, there you go.
Well, I also, just to show, I got the old original. I have my box somewhere.
I got that. I was going to grab that.
And I've got the other one with the bonus disc. I don't know where I put it, but and then of course I got the bonus disc that Rick sent us as well that has the making of Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back special effects and classic creatures, all in HD scans from 16 millimeter, and from Star Wars to Jedi, also in 16 millimeter. And of course, for good, where my box is, I gotta find it. And for good measure, I do actually have the shitty 4Ks. And let me tell you, these are fucking DNR city. Like, as much as we gripe about the Terminator films, nobody gripes enough about these.
Because I think most people that bought them from Disney are the Disney people, you know, so they're used to seeing the way the shows and the sequels look. So to them,
George did it. It's just as bad as fucking American Graffiti.
Yeah,
it is DNR'd, smeared to shit. And somebody even showed like a zoom in of, and this is how bad it is. Because even though those are from the original negative scans, they are so badly manipulated that people have shown zoom in shots from 4K 77 compared to this, where you can actually still see details and shit in the set that have been erased now in the fucking official versions, because George has muddied these up so bad, and they look like absolute dog shit. You want to see what one of the worst scenes looks like in the world? Watch the first Tauntaun shot in Empire Strikes Back. My God, you got floating grain. You've got what looks like they must have replaced, and I think this is also what George did, and it looks even worse now in 4K because of it. He must have went, and I know he recomposited everything, but instead of just recompositing everything with a computer, he went and still framed a bunch of shit. So now you can tell, like, in the background, like behind the Tauntaun and shit, like it's all still framed instead of it actually being an actual background in film.
That's crazy.
You know, do you get what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
So he rebuilt everything, but like in some cases where there was actually a film plate, he just took a still frame of that film plate instead. And you can fucking tell it looks like ass. It looks like something somebody put together in 1996 on their fucking computer. It looks like shit.
Which he probably did.
Well, it's that kind of technology. It was half of this is 97 and then 2003 or whatever, and then 2013 or 12 or whatever it was when they redid them again. And then now this is the newer version and that's really all he did was just I don't think I mean, of course, he added the blinking Ewoks and the more rocks in front of R2 and stuff for some dumb fucking, like, how can he even get in there?
That's
Like,
what I'm saying. When I was watching the original, I was like, thank God that rock is not there hiding, because there's no possible way R2-D2 could have got in there.
and don't get me wrong, it's just as bad on the old Blu-ray. Like, you'll notice it now when you watch it, because I think they're from the same. They're all from the same scans.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever actually went back to the film and rescanned diddly squat since the beginning.
Yeah, he could like cut it all up and everything. So, but no, I'm glad I didn't get the 4Ks. I don't ever plan on getting them. Does it have the McClunky or McCluskey or whatever in those 4Ks?
Oh yeah, that's all George. That's what we're trying to tell people, was like, he did that. And those are part of the 3D release too that never seen the light of day.
And it was called Revenge of the Jedi, right? Almost up till it was released, until George Lucas was like, no, Jedis don't do revenge. So it's going to be returned. So
yeah.
For the first time, because I grew up with the special editions on VHS, the gold ones or whatever.
Poor child.
For the first time, I saw the when Luke falls in Empire, him silence. I'm like, wow, that way better than ah.
It makes no sense. Why the fuck is he yelling? He did it on purpose.
Well, it sounded like not his voice. It sounded like the Emperor's voice.
Yeah, it's somebody else's
like,
voice.
So that always was weird as a kid. And then I saw this where he's just quiet, and I was like, God, just removing that noise made that scene a lot better.
Well, and what's sad is, I mean, yeah, there's some changes in the first Star Wars that really bother me. Obviously, the Greedo thing, the Jabba sequence doesn't even need to be there. But to me, some of the bigger sins are some of the shit that he removed for no good reason, like in Empire. Like when R2-D2 gets ate by the monster and he gets spat out. In the new special edition, he goes, "You're lucky you got out of there alive." In the original, that's not what he says originally. Originally, he says, "You're lucky you didn't taste so good." Yeah. Which one makes more sense?
You're lucky you didn't taste so good.
Because they treat the droids like shit.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck. They know that if, like, R2 they only care about R2, and that's about it. And even there, it's like he's really nonchalant about it. He's like, well, you're lucky you got out of that alive, you know?
Yeah.
That doesn't even make sense because you're a robot. Like, yeah, you're lucky you didn't taste so damn good is better than that, because it makes sense. Yeah. Hey, we got Fatal J in the house.
Hey, Fatal.
How you doing, man? Been a minute. It's been a minute since I've talked to Fatal. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah. Good news for Ninja Turtle fans. We know we're going to get some 4K business.
Yeah. I mean, if Fatal sticks around, I may have a little Superman talk as well. So for one of my picks later, different.
Superman. So yeah. So anything you got to say about Star Wars, Greg?
I like the originals. I am so glad to actually have the unedited versions now. I do like Revenge of the Sith, but once again, I have not watched the prequels in years. So I can't give my full thoughts on them. Yes, I have lots of problems with them.
No, but she was alive. I felt it.
No. The scene would be so much better without the no, because like you see his power and it's just like, just cut out the no.
He could just say he's angry.
Somebody did that, I think, at the time. And it's infinitely better, yeah.
Yeah,
he's just
like,
freaking
cut
out,
it out and just like
all anger, yeah.
Everything, yeah.
It is interesting how some little edits can make some scenes a lot better in a way, or like make the feeling a lot better. Like you said, I just rewatched A New Hope recently, and you guys mentioned the Jabba scene, and I was like, this feels like we just had the Greedo thing. Like, what? Why is Jabba here?
It's pointless.
Like, rewatching it, I was like, we just established that he had a bounty on him. Like the whole scene was to establish that, and then now here you see Jabba, and he's like, "Hey, I'll get you the money." I'm like, we just had this scene.
Yeah, it's a pointless scene.
It's a very pointless scene, which is why it got cut in the first place. Yeah,
I thought everybody.
And it ruins the reveal. It completely ruins the reveal. Like you guys got to remember, like, sure, you guys know what Jabba the Hutt looks like, but in 1983 when that came out, all we heard for 2 fucking movies is Jabba the Hutt, Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt. Yeah, no idea what this guy looks like or anything. All we got in our heads is this guy's got to be like Marlon Brando.
It's kind of like with the Emperor. Like you get like a mention once or twice in the first movie about the Emperor, and then you see like a little hologram, and then you finally see him. So
dumped my load of contraband in the
I don't look kindly on that, though.
Yeah.
So, I want my money.
Yeah.
Instead, we come in, and it's this big fucking slug, and he's like,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
His
whoa.
little laugh.
It's like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, I gotta tell you, it's so great not to hear that stupid song, the new version of that song.
Oh God. Oh, that's
yeah, it's like, oh, it's the original song in this return.
Oh, dude, that's
Are you
the
telling me
worst.
there's a version that doesn't have the song?
Yes, well,
yeah.
it's got the Lappy Newix song, the real song.
All I
Sounds like fucking porn music in the middle of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, like
all I
somebody
know
did
is
some
that-
cocaine and wrote this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
All I know is the one where the guy screams and the chicks, I'm doing the ha.
No, God, no.
No, and the only reason that exists, other than he just had to be an asshole, is because why? Is because he wanted to show both skin from Cy Snoodles and fur from Yuz Yuzzum. That's it. That's the only reason that fucking scene he redid it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then they actually had the actress come back, even though you can tell she's older. She looks still pretty goddamn good for her age. Come back and reshoot some scenes.
Apparently she was still a stripper. So
yeah, not surprising. Because that's where we got some titties in Star Wars, and he actually cut more of the titties out. I noticed in the because that's one of the specific scenes I watched was the Yuz Yuzzum scene with that whole bit. And then I watched the actual version, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot more titty shots in the real one.
So in the original version, was there like a song sequence, but there wasn't like this?
Yeah, it's it's not the Yuz Yuzzum shit.
I was gonna
yeah,
say
it's not
different.
that song, and it's not the CGI guy dancing.
And the end is better. Fuck that song at the end. I don't care what anybody says. Yub nub all the fucking way.
Yub nub. It's so much better.
Yub nub.
Yeah, it's so much better at the end of that.
Yub
So
Nub is
much better.
I agree.
So much better.
But but that one scene in the special editions with that annoying ass song, that is the worst thing, honestly, out of all the special editions for me.
I'm pretty sure that's the moment we all realize, yeah, the special edition thing is a bad idea.
Yeah, and I kind of grew up with those editions, sadly, and even I thought that shit
They
was
were a
ass.
ripoff. Look, I'll be honest with you now that we've had more than enough time. Even then, that's when we started realizing, look, we're not going to get anything special or new out of this. Because we were expecting to get some of those fucking deleted scenes that we've either heard about, seen crappy versions of, or read about over the years.
Like the Wampas in the caves or something?
Yes, all that shit. The Wampa stuff in Empire. The whole thing with Biggs. We got this much of the Biggs story, which makes no sense. Why did you even add that much back in, George, when you didn't add the rest back in? It's like, if you're going to do a special edition where you add all this shit in, we get why you cut out the Tashi Station stuff in the original version. Put it back in here. We don't care. Now we know. We want to see that shit as fresh as the day, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with that scene in Jedi. Why isn't that scene in there with him in the cave when he's getting ready to go in? That's the kind of shit that you should have had in the special edition. Sure, do your special effects and all that other business too, but yeah.
Yeah. It's I'm just happy to have the originals as is. I still have my original VHSs that I grew up on, which was
I do too. Yeah, I should have grabbed those. Yeah,
I should have grabbed mine too, but I have those are the ones I grew on before.
I actually had like 3 copies of those, and I ended up selling. And this is kind of weird because I made a trade for my older ones when I got the THX ones. I had the old ones. I traded that trilogy for a Rancor. A guy who actually had the original 83 Rancor.
Nice.
I think I did a pretty good trade on that one.
Yeah, you definitely did.
I don't have a Rancor toy, but I think I have the fat guy that owned him.
Everybody did. He was at the junk store. That was the guy your grandma got you, and you're like, oh, you got me the Rancor keeper, but no Rancor. Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah. Finally, a toy that looks just like
what's this? Ollie's $1.99. Don't just ignore
that. That's
everybody.
crazy.
Speaking of which, how many do you guys left, Ruck and Runner? You guys got one each, right?
Yeah.
Technically, I got one more, but it's like a bunch of movies.
Since we're still talking Star Wars.
Okay, because I got a few, but go ahead and do your next one, Greg, because I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, because since we're talking Star Wars, I also watched 5/25/77, the true story Yes, very. You know, the more I've watched this, the more I come to like it so much more than definitely better than Steven Spielberg's version. But this is
Right?
so much better. And I think like the first time I watched it, I was kind of like the way he did the special effects and everything, and the way it was spliced together. I'm like, what? And then the more you watch, you realize it. Oh, it's like the movie he was making when he was a kid. All the movies, so you get it. But anyways. This is about the director, Patrick Reed Johnson, who is legitimately the first person outside of the people that actually made Star Wars to see Star Wars. He is the original fan, the number one fan of Star Wars, and he got to see it before it was released on 2577. And this is an autobiography about his life growing up and how he got into Hollywood and everything to become a director.
It's fun. It's a good little movie.
Yes, if you, I highly recommend it.
That sounds
great
cool.
movie.
And Greg's 100% right. Is that it's the movie that Spielberg's biographical film should have been.
The Fableman.
Like if he'd have made his movie like this, that's the movie that would have won all the Oscars that year. We'd be talking about it still because it'd be the Spielberg movie. I mean, watching this movie, it almost is weird because it is almost like a weird de facto kind of Steven Spielberg story because he kind of follows such a similar pattern. But he goes in and he does meet all these people, and it's just kind of this weird little. It's like one of those stories that could only happen at that point in history as well, because after that point in history was where there's no way you're getting to George Lucas after that or anybody close.
After
Star
like
Wars,
Spielberg and all of them, because he got very, very lucky. It's stuff like this does not happen anymore because his mom, was it the guy, the editor of Starlog magazine? Was that who it was?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. He lived with his mom. His dad had left him, and he was like the oldest kid, and he was sort of like the father to his little brothers and sisters, and he's like the man of the house. But he was always constantly filming movies. Like he even tried to make Jaws 2 in his pool, messed up his pool and everything, right? And so his dream is like he wanted to be a filmmaker his whole life, and his mom got a hold of like the editor of Starlog to get him out there to just because she knew he had something in him, even though she didn't want to lose him. And so he like goes out there and he meets with this guy. And this guy takes him to where they're filming Close Encounters of the Third Kind with Spielberg, and he meets Spielberg, and he gets to meet all the people on Star Wars, and they're like, "Hey, you want to see this?" And he gets to see Star Wars before anybody, and this is all legit truth of the movie. So like, it's an incredible story. Of course, the movie is, he fudges some of the facts, he embellishes stuff and everything because he's making it a movie. Like when you really watch it and you get to know into it and everything, you realize he's making it like the movies he made when he was growing up. Those movies, that's why he was making it. If you've ever seen the movie Space Invaders, he made that movie. If you ever seen the movie Angus, he's the director of the movie Angus, which that movie needs a Blu-ray. I'm surprised that does not have a Blu-ray with
New Line.
Yeah, so New Line Cinema. Go figure. But no,
we've heard that Warner Brothers doesn't really care about New Line all that much.
Yeah, maybe Arrow will get lucky and get it since they're giving some of the New Line titles to Arrow. So,
I mean, some of the more recent New Line movies were actually kind of solid this year so far. I watched the new Final Destination.
It's just a label now.
I know.
It's not the same.
They're bringing back the old logo though. I don't know if you saw that.
But it's just not the same.
I know it's not the same, but also that companion movie was pretty good. That was also New Line.
I did see that. But
the new Final Destination is actually kind of solid.
I've heard that. I want to see it. But
it's actually kind of solid. I saw it last night.
I didn't want to see it. But for you, Runner and Rook, who want to make films, highly recommend you watch 52577.
No, I've heard you talk about this movie, and I want to see it because I like movies like that.
I'm going to use the power of Amazon renting and watch that after the stream.
You should. I think you will love it. It's
cheap enough. You should almost just buy it. But
yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good solid Blu-ray too. I would get it if you could. I think you guys will dig it. It's especially as like coming at this like how we've been talking about Star Wars tonight, which this is something I've really great. Especially since I'm also for my final pick when it gets to I'm gonna be talking Superman. I haven't really talked Star Wars or Superman in years. like I used to. I mean, I think Tom can relate it because we've talked about nerd culture and stuff and how it never should have gone mainstream and everything. Because now when you talk about like Star Wars or something like that, it's always like, oh, Disney or big blockbuster franchises that are sold.
When everyone loves it, it's not cool. It just
it's not. So I have like to talk Star Wars to you guys and Superman with you guys like this, which I'll get to Superman when we get to it. It feels like when I would have these conversations with my brothers and people at school about this stuff, when it seemed like it meant something. You know what I mean?
It goes deeper than the surface of I watched the movie and then we went home and had dinner.
Yeah, it's
more to it than that.
And 577 also reminds you of what it was like to be a bit of a nerd.
Well, these things felt a lot more special, right? We didn't get 20 movies a year.
Exactly.
So.
That is something I kind of I don't know if envy is the right word. I'm jealous that you guys had so little as far as like releases. You guys already had whatever films existed, and then but now it's just everything's around all the time, forever, and there's always more. Yeah. And again, like there's so many movies I've seen that aren't even the originals of things, and I'm like, okay, there's more. Okay, I didn't know.
Well, I had the same kind of thing that you're talking about, Rook, where like they just like spoon feed you so much stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had this conversation with like some of my family and like some friends, definitely, where I'm like, man, I missed it when Marvel, like the MCU, would have like 2 or 3 movies a year. They would separate them enough to where they would give it breathing room. That way it's easier to sort of track and kind of.
It's a good feeling that space, because you get to enjoy it or you get to contemplate it. Even if you don't enjoy it, you get time.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like not every single MCU movie is like the best thing ever, but it's like it got you interested enough where you would keep on going. But now, like after the Infinity Saga,
of content,
they did their 36th film. Their last film was their 36th.
But now it's like okay, like there's a movie. This next week, there's going to be a TV show that's going to go on for a few weeks.
Nothing about it is special.
No,
anymore.
It's not special anymore.
It's so bland and standard. There's no reason to make it an event, as to where before you could go, well, even if it doesn't look good, you could still kind of want to see what they tried to do, because it's been a year or two since the last movie. So okay, we'll see what it was. All right.
Yeah.
Nerd culture went mainstream and it never should have went mainstream. So now every film is always going to be a big budget franchise IP film. Whereas like when we were growing up and stuff, you had those smaller budget independent like Tequila Sunrise. You had movies like Tequila Sunrise that would come out in between the 20th Fast and Furious and all that. You would have these movies in between, and you wouldn't have like all these different like Marvel superhero movie franchise sci-fi flick every month.
Yeah.
Now it's constant. It's like that's what the nerds like this, so we're going to just keep making this. Now everybody's a nerd, and it's not special at all.
And they're trying to appeal to the entire mass base.
Yes, and they're trying to appeal to everybody.
That really, there probably was just a divide of, Superman or Batman sort of a thing, and where now it's just such a wide spectrum of, well, I don't know, it'll be out, and that wasn't a comic, so I hear, so I'll see it. And so that's what everybody's gonna talk about, and that's probably the attitude a lot of people have too.
Yeah. But what do you got here, Tom? Because
we have Carrie Fisher, obviously, and I'm curious if anybody else recognizes this little chap.
I know who it is.
I do.
I figured you did.
I'm interested to see if Rook does, because he actually really loves the set of movies this guy is in.
He's the Leprechaun guy.
Yes,
correct.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I love that picture.
Answer.
Love that picture.
Honestly, if you didn't give me the hit, I was going to guess a few other things potentially. I'm like, well, I don't know.
Also Willow, of course.
I was going to say Willow.
Yeah, it's Warwick Davis, and he was also the youngest and shortest of the Ewoks, and he played Wicket.
Yep, Wicket. And he also played Wicket in the TV movies.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Caravan. I haven't seen those movies in years.
They're on Disney Plus in HD, believe it
Are
or
they?
not.
I wonder if Rick could get me those. I need to ask Rick about that. So I haven't seen those in years.
They have the full run, I think, of Ewoks and Droids as well. Droids is in full HD. Ewoks is in kind of like a weird up-res. But yeah.
Even those crappy movies are better than the sequels.
Paul Chatto does the voice of God, what the hell was it? The one guy in Ewoks. One of the Ewoks guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's play Kick the Sack or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, that's cool. But no, yeah, that was we talked Star Wars, and definitely recommend 52577 to you, Rook and Runner, to anybody else who's never seen it. It does take you back. I almost wanted to watch Fanboys too, but I think it hasn't been quite a year
That's
since
another movie I fucking need to watch.
I like Fanboys. I think Fanboys is an incredible movie. It also brings back the nerd feelings for me of like your group of friends and the nerd conversations you have. Like some of the people that are in it nowadays, I'm not a fan of anymore. Like I hate Seth Rogen's, and he has 3 parts in the movie, but they're not like, he's not like over, you know what I mean? He's not, but he's in the movie. And then like Kevin Smith, we have a sort of thing with him nowadays, and it's still, it's a very nostalgic movie because it's very nerd. Like that's what it was like. I mean, back in 1998, when we were all waiting for the Phantom Menace, it was like, what's it going to be? What's going to happen? What if we could just see this movie and everything? It's just like the conversations you would have.
Part of me is kind of jealous that you didn't have the internet at the time. I feel like the internet, as useful as the internet is, I feel like it kind of taints a little bit of the experience of watching movies, because we like look up who's in it. We look up who like who's got whatever contracts for how many years. We look for all these different details that can kind of spoil what the experience kind of is when you watch it a little. And like look for all this like leaked footage or something. Look for
the Phantom Menace was the first trailer that broke the internet.
Yeah.
What was?
The Phantom Menace was the first trailer that broke the internet. Like, I mean, people had crashed the website it was on because they were trying to download it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just mean like the like everybody utilizing like Google and stuff, and like being able to look up everything about films that maybe has altered the experience a bit compared to before, where you just got to go, I don't know, I know these people might be in it, I guess, but I don't know. I'll see the movie. What happens? There's a trailer. That's all you got, right?
I would almost argue that the Phantom Menace started that, because people were, yes, internet was at its rough stage, and like Tom mentioned, they crashed the website that the trailer was on, but people were going as far as they could into the internet to find out, like Weird Al, the song Weird Al sings about Phantom Menace.
Long time ago.
Yeah. He wrote that song based on spoilers he learned from the internet without ever seeing the movie.
Really?
Yes. So like I would almost argue the Phantom Menace maybe started that a little bit of people digging into the internet.
The first thing I remember anything about spoilers.
Yes.
Like before that, I never had heard or really knew what spoilers were. I mean, we had like the Godzilla campaign where they hid Godzilla, right? Gremlins was another one back in the day where they had the Gremlins, and E.T. they did say, like you had those kind of things, but I don't remember, even with the original Star Wars films when they came out, like the novelizations came out like way before the movies. Like if you wanted to, you could pick up like the comic book of Empire Strikes Back, like I think a week or two before the movie came out, and it had everything right in it. Like they didn't hide anything. Like I remember going to see most movies knowing every bit and piece of what was going to be in that film. In most cases, most of the time it was, well, why did they cut that out? Because I read the novel, or this had the comic book.
Yeah.
And they had deleted scenes in there to where you're like, oh, well, they cut that out? That sucks. So I would notice things like that more than anything. Like even Jason Goes to Hell. That's probably why I didn't hate the movie like most people did. It's because I already went in already knowing what it was. Freddy's Dead, same thing, because I had those magazines that basically lay out the entire movie in like storybook form. And so you get every major beat of the film.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you're just like, okay. Or I had the Topps cards was another one. So in like most of those cases, you get the entire film laid out in 88 to 100 and some cards. So you're like, you have the entire film right there for you.
Well, I guess maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, because from what I sort of vaguely remember people saying is that like a lot of trailers were pretty spoilery back in the day, like intentionally.
Oh shit, dude! There was a point where, like before we got into the trailer era of in a world where things happen, you know, like before we got into those kind of trailers, a lot of times trailers were just literally like clip shows, like they were just clips of scenes dropped on top of each other. Like one of the worst trailers in the world is for the movie Gremlins, believe it or not. Like the teaser trailers are better, but the actual trailer sucks. It's just a bunch of scenes, and it's like they don't show any of the Gremlins because they make sure they don't show the Gremlins. You know, and it's just kind of like weird. And you're like, how did this movie get so famous? It had to be because of the teaser campaign that helped.
Yeah,
because
sometimes like less is more though.
Yeah, and then even in the 70s, sometimes they had some crappy trailers. Even the first trailer for Star Wars ain't that great. It's all right, but it's not great.
Yeah,
Star Wars.
And I think when I saw that trailer one time, I was like, yeah, right, I can't see how it get hype really, but seeing it and then your friends being hyped, probably, you know, probably one of the better.
We could possibly get away with showing the first Star Wars trailer because I don't think there's any music or anything in it.
Yeah, they showed in 525/77 when they watched it on the screen.
I was gonna say,
yeah. But no, like the trailers and stuff, like when you would talk with your friends, it was such a different time. And I don't care what anybody says. There was a nerd culture, because I've talked about this before, and some people got up in my like, I don't know what nerd culture is. Explain to me what nerd. No, there was a thing as nerd culture. There was people like us who were sort of outside the fringe of popularity of people who were into like Star Wars. We were into Superman. We were into reading comic books. We were into this. We were into that. And not everybody was. And there was something special about talking that with your friends or my brothers.
Nerd culture was so niche that when Star Wars first came out, I shared this last week, and it's also it's fairly well known, but there was this movie called The Other Side of Midnight that Fox was releasing that was based on a novel that was very popular. And they thought that was going to be the big movie of the year. And they had so little faith in Star Wars that they literally forced theaters to take Star Wars if they expected to get The Other Side of Midnight. Because Star Wars predated it like a month or whatever it was. So it's like, so they pulled a Disney, right? They're like, if you want this fucking movie, you better take this piece of shit.
Yeah.
And Star Wars initially only opened on like, I can't remember if it was 200 and some or 300 some theaters because of that. By the second and third weekend, that had like doubled and quadrupled. And yeah, by the time you get to the first couple months that was out, and that was the thing. It was like this snowball, like that just kept going and going and going. And there were theaters that had been showing it for years at that point. You know, like there was even a special poster for the year anniversary for theaters that had been showing it for nonstop for a year. But yeah, so this is basically the original trailer, just so you guys get an idea of how crappy some trailers used to be for Star Wars.
Somewhere in space, this may all be happening right now.
The trailer feels like Hardware Wars.
Yeah.
20th Century Fox and George Lucas, the man who brought you American Graffiti, now bring you an adventure unlike anything on your planet. Star Wars.
Here they come.
It didn't even look this good. Somebody restored it.
Yeah, somebody restored it.
Yeah.
Was originally no audio of them like firing and stuff? Like,
no, but before they didn't have like the colored lasers. Like they literally had the scratches in the film
it was
just
like
to fill it in.
Yeah, this has completely been restored.
Yeah.
The story of a boy, a girl, and a universe.
Nothing. Like, what are you showing us?
The
Like,
exploring space saga of rebellion and romance.
yeah, so like here, these would all be like white scratches in the film, and they weren't actual laser bolts.
Yeah.
It's a spectacle, light years ahead of its time.
I am C-3PO, human cyborg relations, and this is my counterpart, R2-D2.
Hello.
It's an epic of heroes.
I love all the set audio that's bleeding through too in the trailer. That's the best part.
Like the guy falling too, like you heard his helmet hitting and everything.
and villains.
And I love how they don't show you Darth Vader's voice at all in the
Yeah,
trailer.
not a bit.
And aliens from 1,000 worlds.
Yeah, this pit did not look as good in the other version.
Yeah.
Like, what are they showing you? Like,
I have no idea. Like, if I didn't know Star Wars, I would be so confused on.
it's just a bunch of
what is going
randomness,
on,
yeah. And this is
and
what I'm
the-
saying.
the-
Like, trailers
the
used to be
narrator-
like just this random. They were just, yeah.
Star
narrator's
Wars,
enough to love.
1 billion years in the making, and it's coming to your galaxy
Billion years in the
this
making.
summer.
I sound so I like
like that.
the creepy narrator voice.
Yeah, it's not the best of the
You see-
narrators. yeah.
but like you also
the
think
the music is interesting too.
Yeah.
Well, it's clearly because this trailer came out I think the Christmas before the movie came out, or even maybe earlier than that. So like it predated the final version of the film by a little bit. And I don't know if they even had James Earl Jones yet. A lot of this stuff was still temporary. So you got to understand. And there was so many, like, Star Wars was one of those movies that came together in the edit in so many ways. Like, there's a great video out there that covers this, but it's so true how the movie was saved in the edit because it was a fucking disaster. George had already shot it. Like, I mean, we talk about how movies get reshot and all that stuff. People don't realize Star Wars was reshot like almost 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's other versions of Star Wars where he shot it on like different sets and different special effects and stuff for like the planet blowing up and the space. And he threw out a year's worth of special effects from the spaceships and everything because he didn't like them and started from scratch. So like there's a whole other versions of Star Wars out there that are really boring and weird and got like rear projection shit in them. And you get to hear Peter Mayhew just doing Chewie's lines. Chewie actually had lines.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were actually in the script or not, but Peter Mayhew did them.
Yeah.
Now after that, he just started going, "Rawr," you know.
Yeah.
But in that movie, it's funny because it's like, it's out there, so you can find it. I wish I would find the whole cut of it, but there's scenes of it anyway where you can hear Peter Mayhew talking. But like, there's one shot where he's like, you know, Harrison Ford's like, "Where did you dig up that old fossil?" And he's like, "Yeah, that old man's mad."
Yeah, I think I've seen that one.
You know, in the movie, all it is, "Where did you dig up that fossil?" You know? You said it, Chewie, because that's what he comes back with. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we know what he actually said.
Yep, that would.
I want to see that version, or so I can see what Chewie's been saying all this time.
Yeah. But it's also like you talk about how the trailer's bad. Sometimes maybe that's just like the confusion of that. Well, I got to see what that movie is because I don't understand what I'm seeing here. So
this movie was sold to the nerds by the nerds, and this was where George made sure he had all the rights for the merchandising and all that business.
Yeah.
Besides being able to sell figures, because at that point he had no idea if it was going to be that big or not. I mean, there was no reason to think it was going to do any better than, you know, your typical sci-fi movie, which did 30-40 million tops.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the big side. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going by like the Planet of the Apes type movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be able to sell it to the nerds. So he took this stuff to like the early Comic-Con, you know, nerd conventions and stuff like that, and just gave out posters and t-shirts and told the kids what Star Wars was all about. They had the novel come out almost a year before the movie came out. So this is why a lot of people think the original Star Wars was based on a book for so long.
Yeah.
Because the novel, which is just based on the screenplay, came out and predated the movie because the movie was shot and then shot.
Yeah. Thank God for his wife.
Because they actually started shooting Star Wars, I think, in 1974. Because I think he shot it for, I think, almost 3 years completely all together once it's all said and done. Because it technically, I think, was a bigger, more elaborate, harder production than Jaws, but we don't talk about it like we do Jaws for some reason.
Yeah.
But it was, because when he was in Tunisia, it was just hell. They lost their entire set once because of a storm. The same thing happened on Phantom Menace when storm knocked over and destroyed a bunch of the pods and other shit. So like it was just a living hell. He went through an anxiety attack and a breakdown that he thought he was having a heart attack at one point. Of course, that he come to find out he was just diabetic. But yeah,
Like, but he wasn't taking care of himself, so he went and, you know, damn near killed himself because of it. And it was a huge undertaking for him to do and the first film only cost, I think, was like $10 or $12 million when it was all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just to think about what he managed to put on film for that kind of money is insane. I mean, now the sequels are a little different. Empire was like 30 or 40 million for the budget, and then Jedi, I think, was closer to 50 or 60 million for the budget.
It's amazing what they could do with that type of money back in the day, and then like you give them that much money. Well, we can't even do none of this.
Well, 50 million back then, that's what I was trying to get at, because like 50 million back then, that's more like a $250, $300 million budget now.
Yeah,
so he was already starting to do that shit back then. Like, you guys also got to remember when Phantom Menace came out, I believe that was the most expensive movie ever made almost. The only one I think was still more expensive, I think, was Terminator 2.
Yeah. All right. Well,
but it was definitely the biggest independent film ever made, because he technically made it as an independent film, and Fox just distributed it.
Yeah. And now it's owned by a big Disney corporation.
Mm-hmm. But enough Star Wars. Did you want me to go next again? Because I have a few left.
How many you got left?
I have 3 left.
Okay, I have 1. Rook has 1. Runner has 1. So let's go to you. And
all right, I got one war movie that'll kind of spin off of war.
Okay.
Because this was sent to me by a friend of the channel. I don't know if he's watching, but Scott, thank you for sending me this. Hamburger Hill, one of the more lesser known Vietnam films. I had never actually seen it. Strangely enough, Don Cheadle gets top billing on the Blu-ray.
Really?
Don't ask me why, because he's not even in the movie that much. But I mean, he is in it.
He's famous now, so
yeah. But like, it's more like what's his face? Dylan McDermott and just forgot his damn name. Because it's got a bunch of young actors y'all know in it. Let me look this up, because they're not saying them on the Blu-ray here.
What's this movie called again?
Hamburger Hill.
Hamburger Hill. Okay.
Okay. The reason it's called Hamburger Hill, it's a true story. The reason they called it's about this hill they kept trying to take in Vietnam, and the reason they called it Hamburger Hill is because it had only like a 30% survival rate. So basically, by the time you get to the top, most of your platoon would look like hamburger.
Yeah.
And it came out in 1987. Let's see here. So, Dylan McDermott. I'm trying to remember who the other guy was, the main guy. Steven Weber's in it too. Is he the other main guy I'm thinking of? Maybe that's who it is. But it's a really, it's decent. It's not as good as a lot of the other Vietnam movies, but you kind of set up, you get to know these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan McDermott is kind of more of the character you're following more so. And a couple of these guys have been there before. Courtney Vance, is that who the other main guy is? Oh, he's Doc. Well, Doc's great in it too. He's the other kind of one of the other main characters. And I don't know if you'll recognize him or not. He's been in quite a few films, but
yeah, I know.
Funnily enough, you just might. He plays Bubbles in the new Lilo and Stitch.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that till now. I'm like, I know I've seen him before, but so that's one of his more recent things. He was in Final Destination 5.
Mm-hmm.
He was in The Mummy with Tom Cruise. So he's been around. He's done a lot of things. Preacher's Wife. Stuff like that. No, it's a good movie. Like I said, it doesn't have as coherent of a storyline, and maybe if anything, it suffers from having way too many characters that they're trying to give stuff to. But yeah, as far as the fights and all that kind of business, absolutely, I can see that, Scott. And this is one I know my dad didn't even want to watch.
Right.
If that tells you anything. Like, he was always real apprehensive about watching Vietnam movies, and this is one I know I didn't see growing up. So unless there was a real good reason, I didn't get to see a lot of them growing up. I had to watch after the fact or when he wasn't around. Like Full Metal Jacket was one that he did watch with us. Platoon once. I do remember seeing Uncommon Valor, but is that a Vietnam one or no?
Uncommon. That's with Michael J. Fox in it. Uncommon Valor.
No, that's Casualties of War.
Oh yeah, that's Casualties.
That was one he wouldn't watch. The Uncommon Valor, I think that's the one with Gene Hackman in it. But I'm trying to remember if that was Vietnam or if that was a different one. It's been so many years since I've seen it. But I've seen a few of them growing up, but he was real reluctant to see any. To let
Gene
us watch.
Hackman's in that one.
Yeah, too many Vietnam films, but no, it's pretty well done. This release, it definitely needs an upgrade. I mean, it's not a bad release. It's from Lionsgate from a few years ago. A few extras on it. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. Thank you for sending that to me, Scott.
Nice.
I should watch it for Memorial Day, and I did.
There you go. I have not seen it, so I have to get to that. All right. Well, Rook, let's go ahead and go to you for your final pick of the night. What do you got for us?
All right, sounds good. Hey, you made yourself solo.
Yes,
screen.
I see that. I don't know how I did that.
I'm me and you're you, so that's a little different.
I just wanted to see my pretty face again.
Yeah, no, I get you. In light of Star Wars stuff going on, I knew you guys were going to bring on some Star Wars things. I went grocery shopping the other day. I went by the $5 bin, as I do. I thought, hey, there's Clive Owen. That's cool. But who's that on front as well? Daisy Ridley.
Ophelia? You bought it because Daisy Ridley's.
Hey, $5 bin, man. So that's and Clive Owen's in it, and I was like, I haven't seen her in anything else. So I'm like, you know what?
I would have left that in the $5 bin.
Like, you know what? Let me see if she can do anything. Let's see if she can do anything. And I was left very wrong. She cannot. I didn't know this was like a retelling of Hamlet from her perspective. Like,
that's you done.
I didn't know. I didn't know going into it. I just saw. I
recognized Hamlet, but it's going to be the girl.
And then I just put it in the thing, and I thought it was going to be of that time period and something like that. And I was like, okay, we're gonna get the ball rolling here at some point. We're following her as a little kid, and nothing really happens. Then the queen suddenly like, I will make you my daughter now. It's like, okay, like why? I don't know. She looked like some little ratty boy, but that turned her into a lady, and then it's just like, okay, we're following this bitch.
Are we doing the Last Jedi here?
We're following this chick. We're following this chick for the longest time, and then suddenly, like, okay, so it was funny enough. The guy who's in 1917 is in this as well, and Draco Malfoy as well. Like, they're in this too. Like, some couple of good actors in here. Okay, this guy's the prince in this. He's Hamlet. And he's got some beef with Clive Owen, who plays the guy who usurps the king. And it's like they have like a good moment of drama for a second, and then we follow this bitch around, Ophelia, to cry about it or talk to some people. I was like, go back to them. What are we doing? Go back to those guys.
That's why people watch Hamlet for Hamlet, not Ophelia.
Every time there's anything interesting happening with characters, I'm like, oh man, I want to see what's happening with that drama over there. We're like following this bitch, going, no, go swim in the pond, and I'm gonna go talk over here to the queen, and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, there's no like threat of imminent battle. This is
what happens when you make a badass movie into a chick flick.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Like when she said Hamlet a few times to the character, I was like, okay, it could be that Hamlet, or it's just maybe the popular name of the time. I don't know. I didn't know until a third into the movie. I'm like, okay, this is definitely ripping it off, because they wouldn't show every piece of the puzzle really of the Hamlet stuff. And then I'm like, oh my god, this is the Hamlet story. But with this, we're just following this chick, and then I look up and on the actual disc and stuff, and that is the entire intention of the film. We're gonna watch this girl's story, which is also cool. And it's like, no,
you just described the plot of all the Star Wars sequels.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that too. I was like, man, she was literally just a rat, and then for no reason, it's just like, you are now here. You're now a princess, basically. And it's like, for what? What'd she do? She was just there, and she can read, which was like, they made that a good point, that she can read. And I was like, I just don't. Man, I was hoping that her acting would like show through this that isn't in the sequel trilogy. Like, maybe she can act pretty well too. I don't know, man. I don't know what she would be good at. Like, what role would be good for her? Because if she's the main thing, I'm just like, can we go somewhere else?
So she's not a good actor. It's a crappy movie. Like I said, I would have left that in the $5 bin, man. Just because
No,
she's
I want my
in it,
money
I
back.
I would take it
I want
back.
my money back. Man, no, it was bad. I was hoping that, but you see, when it gets to the end, when they're like, they have Draco Malfoy fighting the guy from 1917, that was like shot well and looked good, but you only see like a few seconds of slow-mo of their fight and the intense look on their faces, and it cuts to her like rowing a boat, and then it cuts back to them like, oh, he drew blood, oh no, and then it cuts to her looking over a cliffside, and I'm just like, just stick to the battle. That looks good. They look like they're acting well. They look like they're putting their effort in there, but we don't get to see it, really. We just see a glimpse of what could have been good. Like that, focus on that part. The Clive Owen, the Queen, all this stuff over there that isn't with this bitch was all looked more interesting. That's every time. It's like, no, go back to them. Follow them.
Just read Hamlet or watch the Mel Gibson version of Hamlet. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, we've seen Lion King at least, so that's a little bit of Hamlet.
So is Bambi. So
yeah, but yeah. So man, no. As far as Daisy Ridley, man, I don't know if she's a good actress at all. She was very boring, bland. She can maybe it's because the only roles I've seen her in are where they try to make her of high value, which is like,
what's funny?
Nothing. What of the character is she doing that makes her where she should be high value? Nothing.
I started watching The Force Awakens.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I made it 17 minutes into it. Do you know what happens about 17 minutes into it?
You talk first, I talk first.
That's where about it becomes the Daisy Ridley story. Yeah, it gets so fucking unwatchable at that point. Like I was prepared for this one to be like, okay, I'll probably get through this one, no problem. It's the other ones that are gonna be the problem. Nope. As soon as her character gets involved, I just check the fuck out. And the first 10, 15 minutes of it ain't that bad.
When she's not talking, when she's just going about her day.
Well, I mean, all the stuff up before that with Kylo Ben and with Finn, and even with the dumbest thing up to that point is, so how does this go? Do I talk first or do you talk first? I talk first?
Yeah.
That's the dumbest
Kylo
part.
kills that guy for no reason at all. Just the old guy for literally no reason.
That was kind of cool. It was like, whatever, Kylo was going to do, because I know why now, because if you think about it, and this is the problem with these movies, is he says flat out, like, I know where you come from, and he kills him because he reminds him of who his parents are.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that would feed into why he would kill Han, and then if they'd have had him actually kill Leia in The Last Jedi, it would have brought it full circle, and then it would have been even cooler if he'd have turned around, and then when he told, what's his face, Snoke, I killed both my parents now.
All the time, though,
have I made the journey to the dark side? And he's like, no, you haven't. He's like, well, then fuck you, and he cuts his head off right then and there, like that, kind of becoming his own Sith at that point. Like, they could have done some really cool shit with this, and they fucked it up.
Badly.
They fucked it up big time. Because, like, look, and I'll tell you this, and this is one thing with somebody who has a kid, it actually works with having the grandkid being obsessed with grandpa. Because anybody who has a kid usually knows, especially that first boy, they are grandpa's boy.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is you two have in common, you're never going to have anything in common. They are going to have everything in common with your father, and just about everything that you... it's inevitable. And so that to me really kind of rang true. I'm like, most kids I know, especially my own and other people, my brother's kid and everybody else, like, they are their grandfather's kid or their grandfather's grandson. Like, they love Papa. It doesn't matter what Dad says. Fuck Dad. Papa's king.
Yeah.
So him having this obsession with Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader was not a bad idea. And one of the ideas they didn't use that I thought was kind of interesting, and they could have brought Hayden Christensen back with it, was that Luke did bring balance to the Force. The problem was that Ben was unbalancing the Force by keep bringing up Darth Vader. So what was happening in that version of the story was, and they actually even had, and to prove what I'm talking about, they actually have the concept art for this, he kept his spirit kept phasing in and out between Vader and Anakin Skywalker. So there was an imbalance in the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ben kept calling on Vader.
So he was basically bringing out Vader through the spirit of Anakin Skywalker. So it was fucking up the balance in the Force. And that is an interesting concept.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting.
And
like
if you had actually gone in on the direction of, okay, so they sent their son off to become this Jedi and he ends up becoming this bad dude, right? Well, what would facilitate that, or what would happen for that, or why would he hate his parents? Well, it's pretty simple. His parents were so preoccupied with the New Republic that he went and did his thing. And that's the other problem, is making them so weak and insignificant, and just like the rebellion again. That makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Leia should have been so powerful and above it all that she missed all this stuff happening and didn't realize it until it's too goddamned late.
Yeah.
And there's already a coup happening, right? And that's where the Empire should have made this big, huge comeback through her son, who facilitated it, the entire fucking thing. Right. And this was his whole thing was just trying to get to the dark side so he could get closer to Grandpa. And then when Snoke kind of resists him, that's when he completely just loses his shit. You know what I mean? And just fucking just goes completely batshit like his grandfather did. Right. Because what was one of the things that set Anakin off was that they wouldn't let him be a master on the council. He was on the council, but they wouldn't give him
the rank.
The rank. So it's kind of a similar, it echoes. Kind of these things rhyme, like George was saying.
Like poetry.
Like poetry. And then if you had Daisy Ridley's character actually be his younger sister that he didn't know had been born, because he was off being trained by Luke, and they hid her like they did the other twins, only this time it was the sister instead of the brother.
Yeah. Disney's not smart. J.J. Abrams ain't smart enough for that.
Well, I think that's where J.J. was going with it, because if you watch The Force Awakens, and I didn't even get this far this time, but I remember it from every time I've seen it before. When you get to that scene where they fly into that planet and she says, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything so green in my life." The look that Han gives Chewie is one of the most guiltiest fucking looks I've ever seen in my life. Like, he knows this is my daughter and I left her on this fucking planet. Why else would the fucking Falcon be there?
Yeah, exactly.
He wouldn't be looking for it. He left it for his kid.
Yeah.
You dumbasses. And then he explained that she's good at all this shit because when she was little, he would teach her how to tinker with the fucking Falcon.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. And then it finally comes flooding back to her who this guy is the moment he dies, or something like, it pre-writes itself. It's like, how hard is it to do this shit, guys? It's like they worked against themselves the whole entire fucking time. Because anyway, let's get away from Star Wars.
Star
Wars.
Anyway, don't watch Ophelia. It's not worth your time. Watch
fucking
Daisy
Ridley.
Hamlet
thing. Fuck Daisy Ridley.
Wait, what the fuck happened?
We got into Star Wars again.
Yeah, but how? Because he showed up.
Daisy Ridley's in that fucking movie.
Wait, what movie did you show? I was gone. I was making myself a sandwich.
Ophelia.
I think I heard of this movie.
I said I saw Clive Owen on there, and then Daisy Ridley as well. So I was like, okay, let's see what else she's been. And this was after Rise of Skywalker, oddly enough. So it was like, all right, let's see if she has any acting chops away from Star Wars, also post Star Wars. Not really.
I've heard of this movie.
And it would also explain why when Daisy Ridley shows up and her and Leia are so close too.
Yeah.
Like she feels like you just have this scene where she's like, I don't know why, but it feels like she's almost like a mother to me.
But like you said,
I just find it so funny that like I come back and I'm like, why the fuck are they talking about the sequels? I thought we were moving on from Star Wars.
I said in light of Star Wars stuff, I brought this because I saw Daisy Ridley.
Dude, I walked out by the time you showed your thing.
Yeah,
blame Rook.
But no, So if I'm thinking about it, Daisy Ridley would probably do good in roles where she doesn't have to speak very much, because she does okay when she's not.
Oh, really, you mean like when she played a dead body?
Well, yeah. But the film opens with her narrating, but she's like in a pond that she seems to be dead, and I was like, that's not so bad so far, and then it goes, okay, rewind.
She opens her mouth.
It rewinds, and then I'm like, oh. But no, like you said, like in the beginning with her, the first scenes with her in Force Awakens, where she's not speaking a word, she's just going about her day. She's expressing whatever vague. It's not like not deep stuff, but it's film language rather than her language, and that's fine. We don't need the moment she talks, the less believable it is. It's like, okay, yeah, we We got you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
So,
well, I would have left that in the $5 bin, Rook.
Yeah, well, I want my money back. plus interest because that wasted my time. So
that's what you get.
You know,
Runner.
so give me $10.
Let's see your final pick of the night, Runner. What do you got?
God, we're gonna talk about a better fucking franchise.
Well, it depends on what you got here, if we like it or not.
Well, I think most of us Tom is a little not in favor of some of these movies compared to us, but
I've never seen Mission Impossible.
The Mission Impossibles again?
That's too bad, Ruck.
I've never seen any Mission Impossible ever.
We got to fix that, Ruck.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, I love that shit.
I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance
companies. I have not seen the new one, so
I saw the new one. That's why I'm bringing them on.
Don't you do me a favor and go fuck your own face?
I'd be much more interested in the new Les Grossman movie. That if they
I want somebody to take that and blend it in with like Les Grossman insults, but just make it sound like it's the same recording. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's Monkey could do your fucking job.
That'd be great.
Punch that director in the face really fucking hard.
With all due respect, let me do my fucking job.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, so you saw the new Tom Cruise Mission Impossible. What'd you think?
I liked it. I thought it was decent. Is it perfect? No. Are there some things you can pick on that are like, I don't know. Yeah, the beginning's a little. It is a lot of, or it is a decent amount of exposition, as some people would say, but I don't know. It didn't bother me as much as maybe some other people. It's not the best in the franchise, but I did like. I don't know. I kind of liked the ending, and I liked not to spoil anything, but I liked the person who was narrating at the end of the movie. I thought it kind of brought things home, and it kind of like got you in the feels, depending how much of a fan of the series you are, if that makes sense. But I don't want to like tell you like who did it, because it kind of does spoil what happens to a certain character. But yeah, I liked Final Reckoning. That was good. I almost kind of liked it more than Dead Reckoning, because that one, I enjoyed that one too, even though some people kind of shit on it and all that sort of stuff. People might shit on the most recent one even more. I get it, but I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it for what it was.
I have not seen the new. Like I said, I like the movies, but they are very much the same movie over and over.
Yeah,
we've talked about it before. It's like,
I know,
but I've not seen Final Reckoning. I do want to see it, but it's I'm not in a rush.
I mean the two big stunt scenes that happen are very cool to watch. Especially the biplane stunt, which I was just kind of like, how the fuck is this guy not dead after all that? Because that's insane. It's probably like the most insane stunt that is like pulled throughout the franchise, I think. I'll say this. I thought Isai Morales was better in the last movie than this new one. I thought, I don't know, for some reason, the way his character was portrayed in the new one was a little bit dumb in comparison to Dead Reckoning. So I guess that's like one negative I have, really.
Mm-hmm.
Other than like, yeah, the new one is pretty long, but I don't know, it didn't bother me nearly as much as I understand why it would bother other people. You could chop it up. For sure. I'll say that too.
3 hours is a pretty long time, considering this was originally supposed to be a 2-part movie.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of bloat of pretty much a lot of clip show, a lot of like re-saying the same stuff, a lot of so much exposition.
But I don't know.
What I'm hearing, so.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but Christopher McQuarrie did say that like the reception or what happened to Dead Reckoning did somewhat affect the new one, which you can kind of tell.
Happens. All right, well.
But yeah, I mean, fuck. Depending on how well the movie will do, obviously the budget's pretty up there, so it sucks. I really want the new movie to do well, just because of Tom Cruise, how he treats the fans, how much he puts so much effort into the stunts he does and all that. I hope it does well just because of that, really. But I don't know. I mean, fuck, if we get that Les Grossman movie, though, that'd be amazing.
Do you think this will really be the final Mission Impossible in the franchise, or
I think it'll be the final. Another? I think it'll be the final Mission Possible with Tom Cruise.
I hope so. Just because I think the way it kind of ends is like, okay, it's.
I have a feeling it goes back to television after this.
I could see them say Mission Impossible Resurrection or something.
Maybe in 10 years, but
maybe if Tom Cruise is like much fucking older and
hopefully he's on an island,
and he has like grayer hair and shit, and he's like old.
Look, there has to be some very desperate people to make another one at this point. Like, regardless of how well it's doing as far as breaking records, as far as the franchise goes. This movie has passed the tipping point as far as like budget to ability to recoup that budget.
Yeah.
No movie in the franchise has ever made enough money or as much money as it's going to take for this movie to break even. And now I see a lot of the trades making a lot of excuses for it. Like, oh, it'll have ancillary, deals in television and da-da-da-da. It's like, what fucking television?
Yeah, like, everything's streaming now.
Everything's streaming, and not only that, anything that's on television, I guarantee you they're not making the kind of money they used to for network and cable.
Well, that's pretty obvious with WB, like that.
Yeah,
them coming out saying, "Well, we're basically working without a safety net here, so we're just trying to make better movies."
Yeah.
So, I haven't seen any Mission Impossible and at all. So, like, how would you? Like, what is Mission Impossible? Like, there's like so many movies with it. It's based on a show. Is it basically James Bond, but like so like I know that the main draw to the movies are the stunts, like Tom Cruise doing crazy stunts. But like, what is a draw to these movies? I guess. Other than that.
I mean, that's definitely like number one, but I mean. For the most part, for most of the movies, you get some really interesting characters in the sense where most of them are very likable. You got some, likable actors there for the most part. That's another thing that kind of, makes the movies enjoyable.
I'll explain each movie to you right now.
Okay, fucking do it.
It's based off a TV series called Mission Impossible, where it was a group of, it's like a secret group of within the government spy agency. They would take on impossible missions if they were willing to choose them. So here's the plot of every movie. Tom Cruise plays Ethan Hunt, who is the best of all these people in the secret MI mission, people. He gets this thing where he's like, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is this, and you'll probably die. Tom Cruise goes, okay, I'm gonna take it. I'll get my team together. Gets his team together. He gets into the mission. Shit goes wrong. And he's like, fuck this. We're going to win. They win. There's every movie. That's every single
You forgot the part where he has to go through an elaborate stunt to prove his innocence.
He has to go through an elaborate stunt and make a mask and everything. Not saying anything bad about it. They are enjoyable. They are truly enjoyable films. But that is every single Mission Impossible movie.
I mean, that's kind of what you got to do, though.
That's why I compare them to the Transformer movies, because you could literally just throw out a bunch of like, okay, which one am I talking about? Because you can't even anymore. And people can't even deny this, as jerky as they get about it, because even people who claim to be fans of the franchise, they even have to check and see which one's which half the time title wise.
Yeah,
like they don't even remember which one that. Yeah, exactly. Which one was Henry Cavill in again? You know, it's like which one was Ghost Protocol? Like,
well,
yeah,
I know better, but
you're probably one of the more diehard fans, so I'll give you that. But like, there's okay. That's the problem. Is majority of the people that watch these movies are not as big of fans as you are.
Okay,
and you have the people that were fans of the original series who have issues with the franchise because they killed all the fucking people off from the first movie.
That's true.
Movie.
The first one is like the Last Jedi to the Mission Impossible actual TV fans is like the first Mission Impossible.
That's one thing
Last
Klobby
Jedi
would bring up to me all the time was how he was never a big fan of this franchise because of what it did to all the original characters.
By the way,
that movie
the
did,
first one is still
he
the
would
best.
always say that movie did to those characters what J.J. Abrams ended up doing later on to so many things. Basically, he would say.
Speaking of which, I'm trying my best not to spoil it, but in the new movie, there's a certain character who is connected to a character in the first movie that was in a character that's in the original TV show, which kind of surprised me.
If they turn around and go all the way back around to try and make what's his face from the original movie innocent after all this time,
I mean, I don't know if they. How do I describe
John Voight's character? Because John Voight was playing one of the original.
No, I know.
I'm trying to remember.
I know.
Phil.
Yeah, I think so.
Jim Phelps.
Jim Phelps. That's what it was.
Phelps. But there's a character who is connected to his family, if that makes sense. That is added on to the later movies. Who's in the last one? And I don't know if it so much proves his innocence. Really, but it and there's another character in the first Mission Impossible that's also a returning character in the newest one. But that was like already revealed by a poster and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I actually do enjoy these movies. I do like watching these movies. I'm not even a huge Tom Cruise fan, but I do like watching these movies. But you cannot argue that these movies are all legitimately the same movies, and I personally still feel like the first movie is the best movie, which is funny because like I said, most people consider fans of the TV show consider it to be the Last Jedi.
It feels the most like Mission Impossible because by the time here, because like going off of like what Rookie was just saying is the problem is once you get past a certain point, these movies are more like a Bond, James Bond kind of thing. They become more like James Bond, yes, than they are like Mission Impossible so much. And it also kind of loses its, and I know not to spoil anything, I do know that a character dies in this one. Yeah, that's always been one of my big problems with the franchise up to this point. I think we've had this conversation before where it's like his whole thing is like I can't lose a member of my team because he lost all his whole team in the first movie. It's like but he hasn't lost any fucking buddy in 8 fucking movies now.
Exactly.
And that's or 7 at least now if you want to count just the sequels. But like, I mean, that's the other thing with this franchise. Like, let's be real, and I've been pointing it out all over the place, and I'll say it again. The problem with this franchise is that we're 8 movies fucking deep, right? Like this guy's giving Jason a run for his money, and I ain't talking about Jason fucking Bourne either. I'm talking about Jason Voorhees. At this point, he went to Manhattan. Okay, like what's next? Mission Impossible Goes to Hell, and then Mission Impossible X. In space, like I mean, I know Tom wants to go to space, but I mean, come on, man. I mean,
that's for a different movie, though.
Yeah,
I know, but I'm just saying we're getting to this point where it's getting a little long in the tooth for the franchise, and especially be spending $400 million on a fucking movie.
Mission Impossible Goes to Mars. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the movie with Henry Cavill is the one where somebody should have died. If anything, that is the one that is a great one. And that is the movie where it's culminating to a point where it's like, okay, somebody has to die. And then you get the dead reckoning and they kill the wrong person.
Think Simon Pegg dies, don't you? And then you find out, I think they even do that fake out on you.
They do.
And then there was absolutely no reason to kill that woman, Isla, or whatever her name is, in Dead Reckoning.
That's a cheap move to turn around and introduce a new character just to fucking kill him, too.
And I didn't really like Haley Atwell's character in that movie.
She was better in the new one.
I hope so, because she was annoying in that Dead Reckoning. She was very annoying.
No, she's a much better character in the new one for sure.
I didn't care for Dead Reckoning as much. I think they kind of peaked with Ghost Protocol and Fallout, and then they've kind of gone downhill from there. And I mean, the audience is kind of
Rogue Nation's my favorite, though.
Or maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. See, that's my problem is I don't remember which one's fucking which. Right? Like,
Rogue Nation's the one where Tom Cruise is hanging on the side of a plane.
I don't remember.
Here's the thing with James Bond,
crazy motorcycle.
Corley and Rogue, but here's the thing, because James, I know where you're going with this. James Bond reinvigorates itself every 5-10 years.
And he's a different actor, like multiple different actors. So each take is different. So Tom Cruise is the same person in all movies. So
he's been playing this part for 30 fucking years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the other thing people need to remember.
When he turns
I'm not even exaggerating.
When he turns 90, is it going to be like, all right, get over that curb on your little scooter or something? Oh shit, he did his own stunt.
He might do some really crazy ass stunt with a scooter. Then I don't know.
He said he's going to be acting. If he's 100 years old and he's still alive, he's still going to act.
Yeah. No, he doesn't plan on retiring or anything.
No, but I'm I'm not. I liked it. I do like these movies. I really do. I had never thought I would, but when I started watching them all, I do like them. But you can't argue that they're not. I know everybody. I hate saying it because like Tom's like I know everybody touts these as great. Like Tom Cruise. Yes, Tom Cruise is the last movie star. He's incredible to the fans and everything. But these movies, he's done better than these.
It'd be better.
I know. 100%.
Yeah,
100%. But here's the thing. One of the other things I like about the new one is
like Top Gun is better than these movies.
Yes, especially the new one.
Yes.
But
although I will argue the first Mission Impossible, like you said, is probably better than the first Top Gun. I know most people won't agree with me on that, but for me,
to a point, I guess.
I mean, we're not talking Maverick. We're talking the first one.
No, I know.
What happened?
That first Mission Impossible, though, like I'm not so sure they've ever really managed to recapture that.
No, I don't think they have.
There was something about it at the time because I mean, there's no even real reason why Mission Impossible, and I think maybe that's why it worked the way it did because it was one of those franchises that didn't scream out, "Let's do another one of those," or "Let's revamp that," or bring that back. And De Palma doing it the way he did, despite the fans of the original show feeling the way they did. I mean, there was just something about it when it came out. It was that big movie of that summer season. I remember 96 until Independence Day came out. That was like all about Mission Impossible. And then all of a sudden 94 dropped and it was, just like, yeah.
Let's face it. They're still doing the Tom Cruise thing where he comes down in the first movie. They're still doing that, copying that in parodies to this day.
God, yeah.
To this day.
That's what I mean. Exactly. Like they have not been able to kind of top some of the shit they did in that first movie.
Yeah.
And on stunts be damned. It's not even really about the stunts. It's just about how because that scene alone, because you're right, it was one of the most influential scenes of that decade. And it made that movie what it was. It was this whole like taking it to the next level kind of thing. And I don't know how else to explain it because everybody was sweating in the theater during that scene. You know what I mean? Like everybody's on the edge of their seats and it's like, we all knew he was going to get it, but it doesn't matter. We were it's
an intense scene. It's like with the sweat and everything.
Me, I almost got more of a thrill out of that than seeing him do the jumps in the planes and the buildings and the mountain. There's something about it. It's like, motherfucker's still alive. I know he's still going to do that. But for some reason in the story, it meant more for those things. And that was the other thing, because I think you also pointed out, because there's always a stunt early in the film that generally has nothing to do with anything.
There's always like a big opening stunt.
Very rarely, except for the one time, I think.
Or the story's written after the stunt sometimes. Like, here's a cool stunt. Now make a story.
Well, yeah, because they do it for the teaser trailer usually. That's why.
I would compare the first Mission Impossible to the first John Wick because, like, it's a much more smaller, intimate movie with great action pieces. It's intense edge of your seat, where each movie kind of got bigger and bloated.
It takes itself seriously.
Takes itself out of the world that it's created and tries to overdo it.
Yeah.
But whereas I would also argue that the Mission Impossible movies are, I know some people may not like this, the Mission Impossible movies are better than the John Wick movies because by the time you get to John Wick 4, I'm sorry, John Wick 4 sucks. The more I think about it, it is a shitty movie. It is. The more I think about John Wick 4,
we'll talk about that one day, Runner. I hate it too. I hate
God,
John Wick 4.
I mean, especially when he falls down the steps. I mean, like when he falls down the steps twice, I'm out of them. That's it. I'm done with this movie. I'm just like, it's like this is not the same John Wick I fell in love with in the first movie.
No,
this is just
it's a clown.
This is just not. Where the Mission Impossible movies, as much as they are, they've stayed on the same track. They never let their character of Ethan Hunt become a bit of a joke or become sidelined by other people in the world he lives in.
I think the way you're describing the way John Wick went out with the stairs that's not the way I looked at it. I didn't look at it as like he's a fucking joke now and all that stuff. No, he's still fucking John Wick.
Falling down those stairs.
Yeah, he's still good. Like they
but he went all the way up.
Of John Wick falling down the stairs.
So my point.
He got back. He went to the fucking top.
That's kind of my point. Why it's a joke, because it takes all the believability out of John Wick. Yes, toward the first one, it was a lot more believable, and then by this one, he's falling off a like 3-story things, getting rammed with cars, falling down ridiculous amount of stairs, getting shot, stabbed, and it's just like I don't know, man. This is ridiculous, and this is another thing too with like the dogs.
The ridiculous stuff was happening.
Every dog gets like an instant pull on somebody.
By the time we get to the fourth movie, I no longer believe that this is the same man they describe as the Baba Yaga in the first movie, because now we got Donnie Yen, who is just as good, if not better, than John Wick. Now we got this guy tracking John Wick. How does he track John Wick? Never explained, but he's an amazing tracker, and he can almost kill John Wick twice, but he doesn't because he's a good guy.
In the first one, he's like tactical and skilled, and the other ones, he's just unable to be killed. And it's like, I don't know. There's a huge difference to me.
Well, they're making a movie based on that character.
Yeah, that's the only reason that character was created. John Wick 4 was created to spin the world into a bigger world. The world building killed John Wick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the amount of everybody associated with assassin stuff was so dumb.
The whole reason John Wick 4 exists is so you can get Donnie Win, whatever his name is, spinoff. You can get the Continental spinoff. You can get the Ballerina spinoff. That the world became bigger than John Wick, and John Wick became unimportant.
Didn't they make a hotel movie?
I was fine. Listen, I was fine with the world building. Okay,
the world building just got too much. It overshadowed the whole character.
Listen, Greg,
how do we get to this? We're supposed to be moving on.
Okay, I will move on after I say this. Greg, I promise you this. If I watch any of the spin-off movies of those other characters like Ballerina and the Kane movie, and if they fucking suck, I'll let you know, hey, you were right, this was a bad idea. Okay, let's move on.
It is. And here, real quick. We got a $4.99 super chat from Primark Vulcan. Thank you, Primark Vulcan. He says John Wick 4 is so bad it has an entire character you could completely remove from the film, and it would make zero difference to the plot. The tracker. I agree with you. You can even remove John Wick from John Wick 4, and it would not change the plot of the movie.
I also hate that the dog always gets like an instant kill on anybody it attacks. I find that really dumb. Just like, oh, dog, sick him, and then people are too dumb to fight off a dog. Like, I don't know.
And thank you, Primark Vulcan, for the $4.99 super chat. I do appreciate you. And for that, I will give you this.
Next on USA, up, all night.
All right. Any final words on Mission Impossible before we
I was going to say, are we going to go back to fucking Mission Impossible now?
Give your final thoughts on it, because we got Tom's got 2 and I got 1, and we're already over 3 hours.
I was going to say this earlier about the new one in particular. Like, the tone is different in the sense where, like, definitely some of the more recent ones, they have, like, you know, this bit of like comedy to them, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's certain gags that they play around, and there's like some comedic bits with like Ethan Hunt and some of the characters. There really isn't a whole lot of that in the new one, and I actually kind of liked that. It kind of took itself a lot more seriously in that respect. if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I'll say this: if you're a fan of the first movie, I'm kind of curious, like, what those people think about the new one. If you're a big fan of the first one, if you think the first one is the best one of the franchise, and how the last one kind of ties in with some of the things in that.
Well, I do plan on seeing it, but I'll probably wait till it releases on physical before I see it. So
okay, that's fair. I will say the biplane scene is, that scene alone for me is worth seeing in the theater, because that was like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my general thoughts of the new one. I enjoyed it. It's not perfect, but it's a fun time.
Cool. All right, Runner. Good. All right, Tom, what do you got? And because I'll go to you, then me, then back to you, and we'll close it out because I know you got two.
Well, yeah, I got. Let's start with this one here, even though everybody probably saw what the other one is. I got Wayne's World 2 in the mail. I talked about this not too long ago when the first one came out, but yeah, Kino got this one, and I guess either Paramount just didn't fuck with it, or they were able to get a hold of it without any like issues like the first one, because this one looks so much better. No issues whatsoever that I can notice with it as far as picture wise. No new extras. Although I don't know if the original disc had TV spots on it, so that might be it. Otherwise, same commentary and extreme close-up featurette as the Blu-ray and DVD. But yeah, the movie looks good. And it was on sale for like, I think $20 or $21 on Amazon.
I believe it still is on sale right now.
So I definitely would grab it for that price if you can. At least until it goes back on sale again at any time in the future. But yeah, no, it's a classic film. Is it as good as the first one? No, but
I had no idea they had a second one.
You didn't know there was a part 2?
I thought it was just a Wayne's World.
You didn't know that?
What? I can't.
Who talks about the sequel?
Excuse me? Baking powder?
Huh?
You didn't tell him about my pubes, did you? I like them teeny and toasty.
No idea.
Take me, Garth.
Where? It's cold and you don't have a jacket.
Man.
Can I be Frank? Can I still be Garth?
Just when you thought he had redemption after his John Wick 4 take.
We're going to put on a concert. Yeah, we're going to put on a concert. Yeah, what's it going to be called? Wayne Stock. Yes, we're going to call it Wayne Stock. And who's going to be in it? Rip Taylor. Rip Taylor's going to be there. Rip Taylor. Oh, I love him. And Aerosmith. Wow.
We're going to take
an old man fashioning a canoe out of a kayak. What? Huh? No, never mind.
We're going to take this and make sure that we cross our T's and dot our lowercase J's.
So you guys really want to put on this concert? Are you kidding? We give our left eye for that.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
Okay, I cannot believe you didn't know this, Rook. So that's like the plot of the second one is like they're going to put on Wayne Stock, a concert.
Yeah, I mean, I only hear references to the first one. Usually,
I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser.
The first one is a better movie, but the second one is funny. It's a good movie. It's just
the best part is the roadie. God, I just forgot his damn name.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
The British guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was once. I get that story. He tells him when he's smoking.
Ozzy Osbourne wouldn't go on stage one night unless he had brown M&Ms. Needless to say, I had to get them. There was a little sweet shop on the edge of town.
Yeah.
So there we were. Me and David Crosby, and I can't remember the other rock stars, all breaking into a sweet shop in the middle of the night. And we had to beat the store owner and his son with their own shoes. That's a whole nother story. But needless to say, we got the M&Ms, and Ozzy did a great show.
It's great.
We toured the country, me and my old lady. Oh my God, is this you with Bob Dylan? Yeah. Oh my God, is this you with David Bowie? Yeah. Who's the old lady? That's my old lady.
That's my old lady. Chris Farley's great. Because I got no place else.
Why are you here?
A lot of guys' girlfriends are in there, man. I know,
Chris shines in this one. Yeah,
it's a great movie. You should definitely check out Wayne's World 2 if you've never seen it. It is funny. It's a great movie. Yes, it is coming up against Wayne's World 1, which is an incredible movie, but Wayne's World 2 it's got a lot of good funny bits in it. It's funny. It's good.
And now that I know, I will check that out sometime.
Yeah.
I'm the leprechaun, man. I'm the leprechaun. Oh, are you scared? I'm the leprechaun, man. Where are you gonna go? To Ireland with the leprechaun, man?
Stop it!
Stop it, man! You're scaring me.
It's so good.
I like the con, man. Give me my pot of gold.
It's at least the 4K. I mean, if you have all the Blu-ray, I guess you can keep it, but at least the 4K looks good.
Oh, look what I got today at a rummage sale. Have you ever heard of this one? Excuse Me? Frampton Comes Alive? Sha. They used to give this away in the suburbs with fucking what was it? Samples of Tide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary and the Pacemakers. You know, I actually think those guys do actually have pacemakers now.
Christopher Walken's in it too. Oh, that's great.
As Bobby.
Yeah.
He does some good dancing in it though.
Well, I mean, he's a dancer, so
the YMCA bit is great too.
It's great.
That's the problem with this movie. If anything, the problem with this movie is it feels like a bunch of bits, because I feel like a good portion of the movie ended up on the cutting room floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the roadie, the guy from Phantom Menace, yeah. I had to beat them to death with their own shoe.
That's a different story.
Didn't you think it was a tad unnecessary to see the crack in the Indian's bottom? A half-naked Indian, Jim Morrison, came to me in a dream and told me to put on a concert. Look what came in the mail today. My Sports Illustrated football phone. Whoa! My Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Whoa.
Yeah.
And Stanley Cup. 100 Years of Glory. I guess they sent it to the wrong house.
It's a
Garth,
good
I dreamed this would happen.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
It's funny. I'm sorry. These guys don't get it because runners have obviously never seen it. Rookies like, I didn't even know there was a Wayne's World 2. How do you not know there was a Wayne's World 2?
At least I knew there was a Wayne's World 2.
Nobody I knew ever was like, you know what? After we watch Wayne's World, let's watch the second one.
I mean, I know this is a small part, but can't we get a better actor in here? I mean, really?
Ricky Rook should like that because he likes the Planet of the Apes movies, and Charlton Heston comes out in the movie in Wayne's World too. So
that's good.
Yeah,
the First and Second Presbyterian Church.
Yeah. My God, no. All right.
Of my daughter.
The Beatles. Dun, 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 dun. They're the monkeys.
I know all forms of the animal fighting. The crane, the tiger, the monkey, the beetle. Dun, 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 dun.
That is a good scene. But would you say the 4K is worth it? The
yeah, it looks decent.
Kino. Yeah.
I mean, it's a comedy. I mean, they didn't. You could tell they had a little bit more money for this one in comparison to the first one, as far as how it looks. But I mean, I wouldn't say it's like this grand. But I mean, it has no messing with it. It looks good. Great grain structure. Doesn't seem to be overly grain managed or anything like that. I mean, clearly there's a little bit maybe here, but I didn't notice any floating grain. No problems. I watched it with the stereo surround track since that's what it came out with. So I'm assuming it's the same 5.1 track that was on the Blu-ray before, but it's the first time I've been able to listen to it in its original stereo track since the DVDs. So there you go.
Would you say that the Wayne's World films are like one of the best, if not the best, of the SNL skits turned films?
Yes.
In fact, I think if anything, now is the time for a Wayne's World 3 with YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, you just basically have them on YouTube doing stuff and come up with a little plot on the sideline.
It's because that's pretty much what they were doing to begin with. So, yeah. It'd be great.
Or you have it where the station finally closes down, so they do move on to YouTube and they go viral or something like that.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Because they've always kind of been local level, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is probably the best. We did talk about this on your channel, all the Saturday Night Live movies, so that was fun.
The little Ed O'Neill cameo is good.
Yeah.
What
Why
other
did he come
SNL?
to me to die? Why did he come to me to die?
What other SNL films would you put high up?
Coneheads probably is up there, even though a lot of people give that shit.
Yeah, I'd say Coneheads.
Which I think is supposed to be getting a 4K release before too long from Kino as well.
What was Anchorman? Was that based on a?
No.
The Ladies Man. We talked about
Ladies Man is probably one of the more undersung ones. Yeah. What else?
What did Stewart Saves His Family?
That one's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Isn't there one with the short guy? With Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell.
Yeah, the Night at the Roxbury.
Dad shot Donnie. Where did he shoot him? In the leg.
With the Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers
is technically one, yes. So that would be definitely one of the top.
Yeah, that's one of the top.
Oh, that's like number one for me.
It's kind of a tangential one, but yes, it is very much an SNL film.
They were never quite a sketch. They were more of a singing group on the show.
Yeah.
They were never quite a sketch.
But I'm pretty sure I think Lorne Michaels was one of the producers on the film and stuff, so that consists of making it the technical first.
I thought they were more of a band than from a skit from SNL or something.
They are characters played by Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. They are character the Elwood and whatever Blues. I can't think of his name at the moment. But they were basically Jake, yes, Elwood and Jake Blues. They would basically come out and sing. They weren't like in a comedy sketch or anything. They did
the first
Blues
time
Brothers, and they'd come out dressed as bees.
I was gonna say because Lorne didn't get the joke or didn't get the idea, so they started by making them doing that kind of stupid shit first, but then eventually they did get to come out as the Blues Brothers proper. But I think that might even have been after they made the album and had done a little bit of touring already. I'm not 100%. I'd have to go back and look at the history again, but because they had a huge album before the movie, so
that's cool. Wasn't there like an ambiguous gender character or something?
Oh, that's Pat.
It's Pat.
Talking about it's Pat.
Yeah,
and then MacGruber. This is like the last one.
No, MacGruber sucks. That was a shitty movie.
I think the skit is fine, but yeah, I don't know how they can make that into a film. I haven't seen that movie, but
I know it has its
fans.
It has its fans. Isn't Hot Rod technically one too, or no?
I don't think Hot Rod. I think they have some of the. I think it's the Lonely Island Boys who did this on there. I don't know if Lorne Michaels is producer on. I'd have to look that up, but it's not a sketch from them. But it's them from Saturday Night Live.
But I mean, otherwise, the other problem with Wayne's World 2 is clearly that the director they got was just a guy who would just do whatever the fuck Mike Myers told him to.
Yeah. Because
I had heard, and I don't know if she's addressed it yet. I think she may have, about how difficult Mike Myers is to work with. It's Penelope Spheres, I mean, the director of the original. And you can tell it's missing that edge that she brought to the original film. Because we were just talking about her this morning about how it's kind of weird, like how some of the best female directors, you wouldn't know it was a female director, like Penelope or Catherine Bigelow or
because they don't make a big deal about them being a female.
Penny Marshall.
No. It's just talent, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's
Penny Marshall's simple. A great one too, because like I mean, who would have thought Big is directed by a woman,
right? It's because they never made like a big. I mean, like Hollywood and them probably made a big deal, like, oh, this woman is directed, but like themselves, they never made a big deal. It's like, I'm a director, I'm directing. It doesn't matter that I'm a woman. This is what we're doing, right? So nowadays, it's like they say, they cast directors like, oh, we're casting this female director because she's a female. So
yeah.
But you're right. You're right. Some of those movies that they directed, like Catherine Bigelow and them and all them, you wouldn't even Real Genius, directed by a
American
woman.
Psycho.
Yep.
Well, she's coming to come out now, and she's made some statements now. So,
well, I don't care. I'm just saying the movie itself.
She's gotten herself. She's woke, as you would say, or whatever. But like even Real Genius was.
But I'm saying the movie. Real Genius is another great one. But
yes.
I'm talking like American Psycho just on its own. I don't fucking care about the person or their beliefs. Just the subject matter and the type of
Fast Time. What's her face is?
Oh yeah, Fast Time. I forgot about that.
Oh, Amy Heckerling. Yeah, she's
Amy
another
Heckerling.
good one.
Yeah.
Who? That's another good one. But anyhow, Wayne's World 2. I can recommend the movie and the Blu-ray. So there you go.
No, cool. All right, well, I'll do my last pick. We'll talk a little bit about Superman. We don't have to talk about it long or whatever, but I just I watched this. It's one of the DC animated movies, Superman versus the Elite. I watched it because I've watched the Superman trailer a couple times, and it reminded me of this movie. And I think maybe that's where
I've heard of that one.
You've not heard of this? This is a good one. This is the movie's good.
I don't know if I've watched that one or not.
It's based off of this comic book right here. What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way?
Which is supposed to be part of the inspiration for the new movie. Yeah,
I could tell because when I've seen this is one of my favorite of the DC animated universes. So what this is about is like, and I think most people themselves have forgotten, is like who Superman really is. What does he really stand for? The morality that Superman brings, the hope that he brings. Truth, Justice, the American Way. It's not just a saying, And so what the story, like the comic is incredible. I highly recommend the comic. The movie takes some liberties, it's the cartoon version. But essentially what the plot of the story is there's this new group of heroes, or as they are presented at first as heroes, called the Elite, led by Manchester Black, who is this British racist punk guy, and he has this group of people. He's got the Hat, who's this Asian guy. He's got this the woman, she can like control these beasts on her body. She's Latino, and he's got Cold Cast, who can emit a massive blast that rival the power of Superman. And they were legitimately created as a because at the time, like anti-heroes and stuff were big. They were coming on like let's kill the bad, let's kill the bad guy. Let's, what's up, Horrid Nats? Glad to see you in the chat. But like, like they were based on the Authority, which I believe was an Image comic, maybe, if I remember correctly. But like this group comes in and they're like, okay, we're just going to straight up kill these terrorists and these bad guys. We're just going to murder them because they don't deserve to live. Why are you still beating? And then like they confront Superman. It's like, Superman, just kill him. You have the power. Do it. And in the process, so they don't give a shit about the people. Like Superman cares about the people. He brings hope. He doesn't murder. He doesn't kill. He believes in hope. He believes in a better way. He believes in law and justice. He knows there's bad people running the world. He knows there's bad leadership. He knows these criminals may not turn their lives around, but he's Superman. He's setting this example of hope for a better future, for a better tomorrow, for truth, justice, and American way. And these people, these anti-heroes come in and they're like, no, we're just going to kill them, and we don't care about the collateral damage. So it's like there's people in that building over there where we're killing the terrorists down here, and we kill them. No big deal. We killed the bad guy, so it doesn't matter about them. So they get to the point where Superman has to face them, just him and them. I don't want to like ruin the story because it's this really great moment is like where Superman is like, they tell Superman, he's like, the mad scientists, the bank robbers, the people in tights, that's your area. Leave the big criminals to the world leaders, the terrorists, the bad guys like that. Leave that to us. You're no longer wanted. And there's a great line in the thing where Superman is like, even talk to his dad. He's like, do you think the world has moved on from me? Do you think what I stand for no longer matters? And then there's like even a scene when he's getting ready to like in the comic, in the movie, where he's getting ready to fight them, and Lois is like, I don't think you can win. And that's his wife. She tells him to his face, she goes, I don't think you can win. I think they're just too powerful for you. So the story itself was voted as one of the greatest Superman stories ever told. And it's this great setting of like why the world needs Superman, why Superman is important, and who Superman is. And the reason I watched the movie is because I was watching that trailer and he fights like a kaiju in that. Well, in the movie, which is like different than comic, he fights like a kaiju villain in this. And he does some of the stuff they show in that trailer in the Superman vs. Elite movie. So I think I see where James Gunn is coming from, which I know there's people out there, but it makes me a little more interested and excited into wanting to see what James Gunn has got planned. But I do highly recommend, if you've never seen it, Superman vs. Elite, and I do highly recommend the story, What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. It's a great story. It's a good movie. And I know some people finally a plot synopsis. possibly I can see a little bit of this in this. But some people complained about the animation in this one a little bit because it does look a little cartoony. But I don't think they were paying attention to this movie, because as you watch the movie and as things begin to get darker in the movie, because things do get dark in this movie, the animation starts changing and it starts getting darker, even to the point where Superman starts looking darker, and which leads into the finality of the film. And so I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's never seen it or even wants to see it, because I know not everybody likes Superman. I know Superman, but watch this, guys. If you forgot who Superman is, watch this or read the comic. But I think I see where James Gunn is starting to come from. I do. And I think it's a great reminder of who Superman is. So there you go. I felt like watching that after that. So if you've never seen it, see it. Do yourself a favor.
That was probably your best sell for a movie, I think I've heard you do, honestly.
Yeah.
And honestly, I you know what? I have that movie from the $5 bin at Winco, and I'm gonna watch that at some point.
Watch it. Watch it. I think you'll like it. You know,
you sold that movie better than fucking the marketing and James Gunn for this fucking new movie.
That's my biggest problem with is the marketing. I know Tom's talked about it, but like I'm a huge Superman. You guys don't understand how big of a Superman nerd I am. I know I talk a lot about B movies and boobies and horror and stuff like that, but like Superman is like one of my biggest all-time passions.
Superman is your passion. I can tell.
Yeah.
I am a Superman nerd so badly, and I don't talk about it as much on my channel and stuff because a lot of people don't like Superman. So
you could probably clip you selling this as just a clip to put on your channel.
I'm so jealous over that. I'm so jealous over that right there. Yeah, I probably could.
Superman pizza.
That. No, it's a book.
Tom's so pissed right now. He's like, "Damn it! I can't even hold this up. I want that.
It's so bad.
It's heavy as fuck."
But like I said, most people really don't know how big of a nerd I am for Superman. I was going through my comics. Speaking like Tom talked earlier, I was going through my comics trying to find this. I have it organized, but I was like, damn it, where did I put the Action Comics? Because Superman and Action Comics. I found my Superman 3 comic book. Because Tom was talking about that earlier about how comics.
Oh, I got that one too.
Yeah, I found my Superman 3 comic book. I found my Flash TV series comic book. I was going through all my.
I think I have Superman 4 as well.
Yeah, I have the Punisher. Speaking of which, I have the Punisher with what's his name, Dolph Lundgren. I have that, but like I might
have that one. I'm not 100%.
I'm a huge Superman nerd. I've collected the comics. I've seen all the movies. I've watched more than the Snyderverse films, people. And it's just something I don't talk about on my channel, like I mentioned, because most people don't give a shit about Superman. Like I clipped this thing from when I was talking with Michelle about Superman. I clipped it and put it on, made a short out of it. And like all the comments I got on that was like, I don't give a shit about Superman. So I'm just like, whatever. But no, if you've never watched Superman vs. Elite or read the comic book, I think it's a great one. It does get a little political in it because it deals with like
That was actually kind of what interested me in wanting to see that, because I don't know. I want to see an older attempt before like the Snyder stuff and everything. Their attempt at political angles with Superman, because
they do. They get a little. They get a political with it in the story, in the comic. Not so much as big in the comic as in the movie. The movie takes a lot much more liberties, but it's like a war between, like, let's just say a war that's going on right now in the Middle East between two countries, and Superman can stop this war. Superman does intervene in these wars to help save people, but why doesn't Superman just kill all the bad guys on both sides, right? And where the elite will come in and they're willing to do that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love the Punisher. I love those stories of the characters that will kill the bad guys, right? I mean, we like that. Terrorists are bad. We want to see them kill. But where does that lead you? What path does it lead you down?
At what point they're not really a hero at that point?
It becomes a point to where, like,
they're pretty much something worse.
Their intentions start off as good, but then it's the power. Well, shit.
When will you fall into?
If I can kill these people, then I can kill Superman. And that's the whole point. Is like they get to the point where, like, well, if Superman stands in our way, we'll just kill Superman. That's where the reach is in this, and that's why Superman has to fight him and show the world why a Superman is needed, why he believes in hope, why he believes in what he stands for. He can't be a hypocrite. I mean, like, there's a great scene in the movie where he fights the atomic skull, which the atomic skull is not in the comic, but there's a great scene in the movie where he fights the atomic skull and he beats him in the beginning of the movie. And as he's looking down on him, Superman has a moment where he's like, I could kill him right now. I could literally do it. But he stops because that's not Superman. That's not what he believes in. I mean, Superman may be a little naive. He may be a little too goody two shoes, a big blues Boy Scout, but he's not stupid to the world. He knows, people want certain people killed and all that. But he believes in a better world, a better tomorrow. So anyways, I talked about that a little longer than I anticipated. But the trailer just got me wanting to watch it, because I've watched that trailer and I've thought about the movie. I thought, you know what? That reminds me a little bit of Superman versus Elite, what I'm seeing in this trailer with the war and the kaiju and all that. So anyways, yeah, check it out. But Tom, let's go to you for your final pick, and we'll finally close now because we did another long show tonight.
Yeah, so I had another Kino release from recently that falls into the creature feature category. It's not the Christopher Walken film, speaking of Christopher Walken from before, but it stars Talia Shire, Robert Foxworth, and Armando Sante.
Oh.
It's John Frankenheimer's Man Bear Pig.
The prophecy.
Seriously?
That's pretty much probably where they got the idea for Man Bear Pig, yeah.
That's great.
It's half man, half bear, half pig.
Seriously? Like that's what that amalgamation is right there?
Yeah. It's okay, so what's this movie? It's batshit crazy is what this movie is. It's fucked up.
You've already sold me. You don't need to say anymore.
It's good. It's been ripped off a number of times. In fact, I think even TV shows have done like satires upon it, but like I said, South Park being the most obvious. But yeah, it's about this guy who's this health inspector who gets this offer to basically inspect this wood company and the Indians that of the area who are protesting them over it, and kind of work out, like, between the two of them to kind of work out a peace kind of treaty deal between them all. And as he goes into it and starts investigating things, he starts to notice that things are not quite right. And his wife, played by Talia Shire, who gets top billing, but brings in one of the worst performances she's ever done. There's some bits in this movie where I'm just like, she's overdoing it and she's underdoing it, and it's like, are you even in the scene, woman? Where
can you find the movie? I'm looking up on Amazon and it's not coming up.
It just came out from Kino Lorber.
Yeah,
in fact, it was on sale.
It's called
I actually had to get a replacement already because my first one skipped, but
oh boy,
they got me one out like right away. I was really kind of surprised at how quickly it got here.
Nice.
But yeah, it's an interesting movie. And so as they're going along, he starts to realize that, because the guys who work for the wood company are like, yo, we don't use any unsanctioned chemicals or anything like that, and da. But of course, he starts finding some anomalies and doing some testing, and of course, it has one of the greatest death scenes in the history of movies ever. In fact, I think we should even attempt to show it here, just so you can see.
You think we can show it?
I hope so. You know, have you seen this before, Greg?
I've actually not, but I know what it is.
Okay. And I can see Tom McLaughlin worked on this.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who plays the Predator also was one of the people who played one of the versions of the monster, because like a bunch of people played the monster.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't show the monster for the first half of the movie, but once they do, they don't really shy away from it. But this is one of the greatest death scenes in the history of movies ever. I'm going to fast forward here so you don't get a claim.
That's great. That was great. It rivals Jason in the sleeping bag.
Good.
That's what I was thinking.
That's pretty good.
That was good.
One of the greatest fucking death scenes ever in the history of ever.
Explodes.
It looked like a banana trying to move.
It could just swat you across the
Fucking Man Bear Pig just
Man
goes to
Bear
town
Pig.
on that kid. He's like, fuck this kid.
That is just crazy.
Literally just makes him explode on that fucking rock. Just like,
I know, just like stuffing and everything went everywhere.
Oh god.
needless to say, none of the murders after that live up to that, but it still has a bunch of stuff. And there's creature feature people. Yeah, Random Brad, you've obviously seen it before. It's a classic. It's one of those movies that it is so fucking insane. At some points, you're just like, how the fuck is this a movie? Like, because Man Bear Pig is just so fucking bad. As you saw a little bit of it there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see this now.
So yeah, The Prophecy, I can definitely recommend. High up on the list of fun creature features. Not to be confused with the one with
Christopher
Walken, but yes.
That's the one I know.
Shout Factory, I guess, did it a while back on Blu-ray, but because they don't have a Blu-ray version of it on here. It's just the 4K with special features on a Blu-ray. So Shout must still have the Blu-ray rights to it. So
Probably. Yeah.
She lives. Don't move. Don't breathe. There's nowhere to run. She will find you. Man Bear Pig.
And John Frankenheimer did that?
I know, right? That's the even funnier part.
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
a John Frankenheimer movie.
It's weird because I wouldn't expect him to make a movie
Holy
like
shit,
that.
this is PG, Steven. You're right. I didn't even notice. There's actually quite a bit of blood in this movie for it being, and some scary shit. Like the fuck, look, not to spoil too much, but they have like, Man Bear Pig has 2 babies.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they show him, and the first time we see him, one of them's dead already, and then the other one's still alive, and they're like, kill it! And he's like, no, it's evidence! You gotta see this fucking movie. It is
I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
It's so bad it's good. It is so bad it's good.
Oh, this has gotta be
you gotta keep in mind, it takes a little bit to get going. But once it gets going, once you see where it's going, you're just like, what the fuck?
I love movies like that, though.
Because it's kind of early on in the story. So what he discovers is that they're using mercury to soften the wood with, but it's another company they hired out so that the guy who runs the company can say, well, I don't know what they're doing. It's not my company, right? You know, we just we just hire them. You know, they do. They're, you know, whatever. We don't have anything to do with that. So like the mercury is causing mutations in all the creatures, like huge salmon and all that kind of business. So yeah, it's like, so like I said, once you see it, you'll see where like a lot of like other TV shows and movies and stuff have used it as a kind of satirized it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But yeah.
I gotta see this movie now. I mean, I've always heard of it,
Pig.
but I've never seen it. I've always heard of it, just never seen it. That's crazy. I'm gonna see it now. What's up, Snow?
Snow, I'm surprised if you haven't seen this one.
That's crazy. Kino. That should actually be on the sale still because they're still on sale. So I might have to check it out. I believe so.
Yeah, I think it was only like $20 or 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you even got Tom McLaughlin on there talking about it. And so as far as I can tell here, it's got all the Shout Factory special features because they conducted that interview. And there's a few other ones on here I didn't get through, but yeah.
Stupid Shout always holding on to the Blu-ray. I get 4K, so it don't matter.
It looks good.
Yeah, you get 4K, so it
I
don't
didn't even
matter.
say how good it looked, right? Like, it doesn't look like they messed with it at all. There's some shots that, like, you can tell that they didn't really fuck with this at all. I mean, yeah, they may have cleaned it up a little bit, but plenty of grain, especially natural for the time. This came out around the same time as things like Friday the 13th and stuff like that. I would say it even looks better than that Blu-ray, because that Blu-ray was pretty grain managed quite a bit. You get nice grain here. The darker scenes are nice and grainy.
Nice.
So I don't think they really mucked with it at all. You got the original stereo track plus a 5.1. The original stereo track actually thumps pretty hard. I mean, it's, you know, so I mean, in that respect, I mean, it's a nice package. You get a nice handful of extras, including interviews with like Talia Shire, Robert Foxworth, Tom McLaughlin, as I pointed out, and a few other people. So yeah, definitely worth picking up.
I'm going to have to pick it up. I'm gonna have to pick it up now because it's just that sold me. This is that clip. And I like
that scene came up, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I rewinded it, like did I just see what I thought I saw?
Who wouldn't rewind back to that? Because that would have been like, whoa.
And again, I do reiterate, remember that every death scene after that doesn't quite live up.
Yeah,
to
it's like that's the one that you really get to.
How could
exactly
it?
Like at that point you're like,
yeah,
there's nowhere else to go with
you
this.
Can't do it now. This had to have been on Mystery Science Theater at 3001.
I don't know if it ever made it that far, because I think if from my memory, because like I think I've seen this once before, because I do remember bits like as I'm watching and like I've seen this before, right? Like I don't know if I ever just didn't know the title or what, if I caught it late night on some like cable or HBO or Cinemax or something like that, but I know I had to have seen this at some point. And the more I look into it, the more popular that I found out that it is. It took me literally 2 seconds when I posted the Man Bear Pig picture where people knew exactly what I was talking about or what I was watching. Right. So this is a fairly well-known film. And as I said, it's been made fun of and copied and mimicked so many times, just little bits and ideas about it from everything from probably like The Simpsons to South Park to whatever, that yeah, it's pretty obvious. So
yeah.
That's what I'm wondering, Steven. I had to have seen it at some point on cable, but I don't know if it ever would have fallen into that category necessarily to be low enough for Mystery Science to get their hands on it. If they did, I'd be surprised. But yeah,
maybe they've done like the riff tracks later on.
I mean, it's not a low budgeted film by any means either. It's just the Man Bear Pig. They did their best. I mean, and it's through a lot of cutting, and like they had a couple different versions. Like Tommy talks about in an interview about how, like, you know, he was the one because he was just coming off of the mime stuff with that. And I think he even talked to me a bit about it in his interview, if I remember right. Did you ever also have the Ken, whatever his name is, who did the Predator? Tall dude.
Yeah.
Because he said he handled like all the stuff where it was like the full body stuff, where he was like had to do like swipes and all that stuff with the less articulated head, and then Tommy was in the one that was most of the time the more articulated close-up shots and stuff like that. So I mean, they clearly had a couple different of the bear man pig things, but they vary in their how much they work and how good they look. In some cases, you can tell they're like literally just like puppeteering this thing. At some point, it's like somebody shoved their arms up in there and just moved its head the one way or whatever. Like it's kind of wonky in some scenes. The baby actually looks pretty good, actually, surprisingly. That one, looks more convincing than the big, because you can tell the big, like, and especially when like it's compared to like certain who's in a costume. I think because like there's times where I think Tom's in the wider shots where the costume's kind of all bunched up, so you can tell it's like the short because he's shorter, obviously. So
right.
I mean, he's not a short guy, but he's much shorter than Ken what's his face who played Predator and stuff. So
yeah. So
that's it.
Sweet.
I definitely have got to get this. Have got to pick this one up. It sounds like fun. I can't believe I've never seen it before. Honestly, I cannot believe I've seen the cover.
Cereal. It's
That is a South Park original idea. The man,
half man, half bear, half pig.
Was it late
79?
79?
Yeah, it was at the point where Talia was such a big because she's clearly not the star of the movie because she doesn't even have all that many lines. She mostly just follows around her husband through most of the movie until she finally reveals she's pregnant because they're hippy dippy like coupled where she's like, my husband's always like, how can I bring a child into this world? And then you see what he does for work and you can kind of understand his point of view.
Yeah,
because he's the guy who goes in when like kids are being bit by rats and stuff in tenements and stuff like that. So like,
I'm gonna see it though. I want to see it. It sounds like right up my alley. So I'm gonna buy that probably.
What's even funnier yet is Armand Assante playing in Native American probably.
Well, they did. Is he Italian? Because they did use Italians as Native Americans all the time.
Yes, I believe. I'm pretty sure he's Italian. Yes. Yeah, he doesn't look too native.
Nah, Armando Sante.
And then the chick they got playing either his wife, girlfriend, whatever she is. I've seen her in a bunch of movies always playing like a native role. I'm wondering if she really is or not. Because I know I've seen her here in a few other things too. But anyhow, let's get out of here. Fuck.
We've been going. Definitely gonna have to pick that up. We may talk about it again if I get it before.
It's fun. I might watch it at some point again. It's definitely a Rubber Monster movie for sure. It's in the category. So
I love me some Rubber Monster movies. You know that. All right. Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Rook. Thank you, Runners. Full show tonight. Another long show. We haven't done these long shows in a long time, so appreciate
You're
you
welcome.
guys.
Indeed.
Thank you, everybody out in the chat and everybody watching on the YouTubes and the X. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to Tom's, Rook's. I don't think Runner has a channel anymore.
Nah,
my channel.
I'm fucking done.
He'll just have movies. You can see him at the theaters soon.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you never know.
You never know.
Never know. If I don't know if I have any work to kind of spill out there, I'll kind of talk about that or just pump that out. But yeah, I don't have a channel.
All right.
But what's funny, I was thinking during this movie is how much it feels like an expensive Empire or Full Moon movie.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Just even that little clip looked like it.
Yeah.
It's
like, fuck this kid.
Yeah. Bam.
That should be another. That should be like another ending stream thing. Just
And they're literally just introduced just for them to die. That's what's even funnier. Like, there's no introduction to those characters whatsoever. All of a sudden, we cut to this scene. It's a father and his two kids walking through the woods, and they've clearly been through some shit, and they don't even explain what the fuck happened. Like, and she's like listening to the radio, and the dad's like, turn the radio off. And he like listens, and then all of a sudden he's like, okay, never mind, it was nothing. And she's like, can I turn the radio back on now? And then they cut to them sleeping at night, getting ready for bed and everything. Like, you get zero background on where they come from, why they're there, why they're in the shapes they're in to begin with, and then just all of a sudden they die. It's like, like that's a classic. It quickly became like it went from like being like an Outbreak kind of movie, almost feeling like not quite there with like the whatever, but you know what I mean. Like, you got a scientist coming in to check some shit out, like, or doctor in this whatever. And then it turns slowly into this fucking flat out slasher monster movie thing. Like, as the movie goes on, you're just all of a sudden not, and that's kind of where the movie turns. Because you're like, there's a few deaths before that, but they're mostly like off screen and kind of ambiguous. But as soon as that scene happens, you're just like, what the
fuck just happened here? Like you see the feathers fly, and you're just like the whole movie turns into that all of a sudden. It's just kind of like, whoa. And because like for the last half hour of the movie, they're literally just being chased by Man Bear Pig through the woods and through like and shit like that. It's just crazy.
It's fun. I'm gonna check it. I may have to add that, like where he says "bitches leave" and then have the kid explode. So I might add that to the little clip here.
I was literally gonna tell you to just cut that "bitches leave" scene entirely and just have that clip. But if you're gonna intertwine those two, that's actually so much better.
I did it. Bitches leave. Whap.
I would almost love to see like a version of it cut with Jason beating the girls up against the fucking tree.
Yeah,
and then, like, if you can cut it in a way where it looks like he's tossing it and then like, cut it with that. I think it would be funny, but like the Man Bear Pig alone is fucking just insane.
But thank you guys. I appreciate you, everybody watching, everybody in chat that hung with us. Thank you all. As always, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.